All right. Everybody knows the drill here. Colby, I think your cam went out. You were fine backstage, and then it suddenly went black. I'm going to pull you back off until you either get into avatar mode or put a face on the screen. I'll bring animatronics up. Okay. Everybody knows the rules. You all know what pisses me off when you interrupt me or somebody else. I get really aggravated, and then I start yelling. I don't want to yell tonight. We've already had a shit show. I'm going to go ahead and let Brick, you were in line first. Go ahead and take it off.
Cool. I like the signs. I love them. Because Rob don't shut up. Rob don't shut up. This is a fact of the Panelverse wherever he's ever been. I've never seen him shut up.
You don't let him cook. He's going to
trying to be polite. That was my plan with the signs, is rather than interrupt, I would just hold it up so we didn't have to argue about it. So I just thought
typical leftist,
like a nice
self-awareness.
It's got nothing to do with the left.
This is going to go over really well.
It was a literal, hey, you're talking too much. Let me respond. And that's why RTP said, I'm going to show you something, Rob. I'm going to actually teach you that you're actually doing something really stupid. You're walking right off the ledge. And Rob, here's the thing. If you allow the lefty to walk, he'll walk off the ledge. But you want to talk.
Who talked more this debate?
You
think? I talked at greater chunks?
Yeah, at length.
What would you do if someone times it and you're wrong?
Sorry?
What would you do if someone times it and you were wrong?
Someone times it?
What if someone goes through and times it and you're
wrong?
Oh my
God.
I'll admit
what if the numbers are different?
I'll admit that I'm wrong, but bro,
your opinion means nothing to me. The cope, you talk too much.
Cool.
The signs are cool. Great.
It's not an opinion. I love the signs.
Great.
So anyway, no matter what Kamala Harris would have done, we would be in a worse position now.
Resist. You had to respond back. That's my point. Even if
I responded to the stupidity of it. I responded to the stupidity of it. That's okay.
That I've noticed about you.
You had to respond to me. You had to respond to me. You couldn't let it go.
I don't have to respond to you. Go ahead.
Well, then shut up. See you, fuckface.
There seems to be a common denominator here.
Yeah, two fucking idiots that think those signs were both funny and a good strategy.
It's never you, is it, Rob?
So anyway, RTP.
Yeah.
I noticed that Rob said that you really didn't have any good points, that you really just kind of fumbled everything. It was kind of the genuine thing that he said, right? So tell me about those things that you agreed with him on, because I know there were some things that you actually agreed with him on during this debate so that we can understand how Rob was wrong.
I think this places we found agreement. I do think that Donald Trump's policies, as far as like shutting down the border and bringing less people in, I think that that's worked.
See?
Oh, wow. No
He's
shit.
wrong, though,
He
right,
said
Rob?
some things. He said some things that agree with me.
Rob.
And so when I said that he didn't bring up any arguments that were wrong with me, that somehow proves that I was wrong. Wow, man. No wonder you were impressed with the signs, with fucking
It's
logic
actually
like
in my
that.
opening statement. It was actually in there. It's crazy.
Great minds think alike. You guys are doing great.
The cope level is so fucking strong.
So Rob, I got a question for you. You guys didn't really talk about foreign policy at all.
Mm-hmm.
And so like something simple that I think is important to understand is like even on the Western Hemisphere, something like seeing Latin American nations become less like the West, or perhaps developing in some ways their own opinions about things, and that's going to change the relationship. And so Donald Trump has been advertising these sort of like what I describe as micro wins, like RTP didn't even have to say anything about that. It's almost like you're conceding before the point that there's no transparency. We don't know who, who's influential. Is this going to be a Marco Rubio thing one day?
I mean, the fact that I conceded because I said Trump was doing good in foreign policy and my opponent didn't respond, and the fact that I didn't respond to arguments he didn't make shows I concede, says everything you know about debate strategy. No, I think that Trump's foreign policy has been marginally better than the Biden-Harris administration and better than what Harris would have been. There's 5 or 6 wars that the people involved in them have stopped or agreed to stop, though they may go back later, but they said that Donald Trump helped them out in the negotiations they had. I think that Trump's doing a great job job foreign policy wide by negotiating impactful trade deals and other things of that nature, and even policies
That's
that I
too
initially
softball, Rob.
Please,
That's way too
let me finish.
softball. Yeah,
Last
okay.
point. Even things that I initially disagreed with, like his attacking Iran, I'm still not a big fan of how he did that. But I think that it actually ended up being not as bad as near as it could have been based on the results we've seen since then. So I don't know what you're trying to say, something about Latin America countries that are becoming less Western. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Just
I
bullshit.
think when the world is in flux, I would define it as strong leadership is required, and Donald Trump appeared to invite crony leadership, and it's proven that there's a lack of transparency. Not only a lack of transparency, like do you actually know what the largest opportunities and perhaps risks to your own family or your community might be that come from a globalized world? If you can't answer that, then you're never going to convince me or win me over.
Yeah, I think right now, the globalized world, the thing that's most risk to my family are fucking terrible people within this own country that are pushing degenerate lefty bullshit trying to indoctrinate my children. I think that that's clearly the biggest threat. But what you're saying, I just want to comment on this. You're like, well, is it Rubio's plan? Is it someone else's? Who the fuck's plan was the foreign policy under human vegetable Joe Biden? Who was running the show there?
Donald,
as lefties
so
were covering
compared to
it up,
Donald
by the
Trump,
way.
Joe Biden always had an agenda, and so when you talk about having an agenda, Rob, you understand this. It means we have something to talk about.
Yeah, millions of people
Hang
crossing the southern border.
on, Rob. You can't.
That's strength,
bro. You're
That's
not allowed to
strength
get
through
away with
diplomacy.
that. Tell me, Rob. Rob asked you something specific. Who was setting foreign policy when Vegetable Biden was in office? Couldn't even remember where he was. Couldn't go out.
I don't know
on a
who
debate
Vegetable
stage.
Biden is, Andrew.
Yeah, well, okay.
Can you
Well, let me
explain
explain.
who
Oh, I
Vegetable
wonder.
Biden is?
The guy,
Absolutely, obviously.
the guy who was completely unable to even make
Accept my
coherent
narrative and
sentences
The
in a
office of
debate.
president, you mean, Andrew?
Yeah, that guy. When he was
Right.
checked out, he was clearly out to lunch, and the left was all over the place saying,
Yeah.
no, he has all of his cognitive faculties.
Sharp
and
as a
clearly
tack.
that wasn't
This is
true.
all narrative.
Can you tell me,
It's all narrative.
who was setting policy then? It wasn't the president. Who was it?
So one example is you can read the Biden briefs. I know I look crazy right now, but you can read the Biden briefs on the White House website, Andrew, that demonstrate and show Joe Biden took a different approach to things like the Abraham Accords, which would be more inclusive of problems like stagnation in North African economies, like sub-Saharan Africa, and like having a more cosmopolitan view.
Can you
for
repeat
people
back the question
while-
I asked you?
I don't
I'm
know.
not
It was
interested
probably
in that,
You don't
Andrew.
know the
I'm not
question.
interested in
You
that.
don't even fucking know. You don't.
It was
even know.
probably incoherent. You win, Andrew. There you go. I got kicked
Okay.
anyway, so why don't you go fuck yourself one more time, buddy?
So how was that foreign policy? Like, see it out of Afghanistan and cause one of the
Feeling the
biggest
lefties
things.
are doing just great, and we would be doing even better, right?
What's that?
If
Yeah, we sure
Kamala
would be.
Harris was in office.
I agree. True that.
Rob, I have a
indeed.
question for you.
Sure, what's up, Ed?
Completely
So at
explain
the
how
beginning
that
of
would
the
be the
debate-
case.
At the beginning of the debate, when you guys were arguing over the debt, do you
Yes.
understand why picking the year that a president starts and the year that the president ends is not an actual metric of the amount of debt that they create? That statutorily spending goes across presidential years into others. In fact, the entire first budgetary year of a president is from the previous president. Therefore,
All the
you
good
actually
stuff is
measure
your
the
president's,
debt
and all the bad
they
stuff
are
is our
actually
president.
responsible for, and not what happens within the years of their president, because a lot of it is not their spending.
So what we can see, it's the best metric that we have, unless you would get to pointing out the year after versus the year
No.
previous, and even that's
You
not going to be.
accumulate the amount of debt that they created, right?
Let me
Hold on,
finish,
I
right?
think.
Like, it's going to be a better metric to look at the actual amount of deficit that was there, or the debt that was there when they came into office versus when they left, than would be to some nebulous, well, we're predicting what could happen through CBO scores, et cetera, in the future. Now, we're not one full year into Donald Trump this time. So would you admit then that any debt that's arisen right now under Donald Trump will show up eventually only in year two? And so any debt that's accrued based on this year would be Joe Biden's debt?
Yeah, a lot of it in his first year is going to be previous spending. Yeah.
Okay, so then you can see the problem. We don't have a full picture of that yet. But when we're looking at the full picture of his claim that Biden spent less than Trump, do you agree with that claim, by the way?
Yes, absolutely.
I don't think that's going to be
All
borne
the
out to be.
metrics are that Trump added 8.4 trillion to the debt, and that Biden is somewhere close to 5.
Okay, prove to me that Trump added 8.4 trillion. What years are you looking at to show that? The first year of Biden?
Yeah,
and
his
then
first terms.
So you would say that you would look at
like he's
Trump's
not president anymore, so you can accumulate all the things that he enacted.
So just to be clear, you would say we look at year two. We look at year 2 of Trump into year 1 of Biden. That's the debt we should be looking at.
No, it's not by year. It's by what they did in office. Right?
I think that what you'll see. Right? I think that what you'll see is right that a lot of this
spending. If he signs something in year 4, it could affect the first year of the next president, right?
What we would see is that things that are being spent.
Just fucking agree to basic logic, bro. Come on.
It is true that if there are things that we're spending that would have continued to spend there forward, that would be things that would be considered part of their debt. But by the same token, then you wouldn't say that Trump. Let me finish. Let me finish. Then you're going to fall under the same trap. You said that Trump spent $8.3 billion. Prove it. None of that debt that he spent was from prior obligations that were made from Barack Obama or even George W. Bush in front of him.
Well, no, those are attributed to those presidents.
Okay, so then how can you specifically say? How could you specifically say that it was 8
laws that he signed, right?
So okay, so point them out. So where's the data you're getting? Show me. You made a declarative statement. You said that he spent 8.3 trillion. Show me. Where's the data you're getting?
I'm not going to.
In his mind.
That's what I thought. It's just I've heard lefties say. I've heard groups.
Half this debate has been like, pull out the documents.
You're the one who's saying.
This is easy shit to find. This is really easy shit to find.
If it's easy to find it. What you're going to do, I'll tell you what you'll find. You'll find some group.
You couldn't even understand the fucking debt and how it's
I do understand the debt. I do understand the debt.
You've proven it over and over and over tonight that you don't.
You could just keep saying, no, you don't.
Okay, so find your fucking find your source then, dude.
What you're going to do is you're going to provide some sort of like partisan group that's going to say, we predict that Trump spending would be very big and Biden spending would be very little. It's bullshit.
Wasn't the first
sounds about right, Rob.
Pardon me for just a moment. I'm going to step away for just a second. I'm going to put Abe in my spot. He's going to mitigate. Give me 2 minutes. I'll be right back. Just Abe, redirect if you need to. Use your big boy voice.
Yeah, Rob, why are you saying that, like, whatever he's going to pull up is from a hyper-partisan source? But if I recall correctly, the first source he pulled up in this debate was from a hyper-partisan source.
What was that source?
Was it wrong?
I was listening, so I heard someone.
Was it wrong? Because if not, then it's irrelevant. Was it wrong?
Well, I think it
was. It was. Yes, it was wrong.
It's not wrong. By the way,
hang on, real quick.
Hold on.
Source that everybody is citing just to work is
no, Ryan, you're speaking through the wrong mic.
Or CRFB. Okay, that's the source.
You're fucking welcome.
Thank you, Andrew. Hopefully, I can get more than 5 minutes with you at some point, but
that's everybody keeps sourcing that site that keeps dropping.
So, can I ask a question, RTP? What was when you say that Biden had an overall growth bigger than Trump's? Then why did we see inflation spike so high under his term versus when we saw it under Trump's term and it didn't hardly spike at all?
So you cut out the first time. He had an overall what?
You were stating earlier in the debate that Biden had a better rise of growth whenever it came to gaining money for average people. How can you say that whenever Biden's inflation rate was over 9%?
Rob, do you know what he's referencing? I don't think that's how I said it. I'm not sure if
I'm sorry, it was a little murky. I'm so sorry if you could repeat it. I didn't hear it.
I think he's referencing.
I could be rephrasing it wrong. But whenever you were bringing up about the real growth wages increase, you stated that Joe Biden had a higher real growth wage increase than Trump did in his first term.
That's correct. You did say that.
He did.
So if you're saying he had a higher wage growth increase, how the fuck was his inflation rate over 9% whenever Donald Trump's first term never went over 2.2?
So what I cited was the average monthly gain. I could pull up those numbers to answer your question. I could look at the source again.
This is exactly.
That's different from what they keep saying. You said right. That's a different thing. That's a different metric.
No. I can clear this up.
Yeah.
I can clear this up. This is what was said. He said wage growth was up, and he cited numbers that said wage growth. I said wage growth's irrelevant. What matters is real wage growth. And he said, yes, that's what I said, real wage growth. When I said pull it up because I knew that those numbers are inaccurate, he then changed and said, oh, no. I'm saying on average monthly it was up. I said, can you explain how if it was down over the full term of Biden's presidency, how on average it was up monthly? Then he changed what we mean by average. He said, oh, what I mean is most months it was up compared to most months it was down. But the initial number that he cited, like 2.2 to 2.7%, was clearly not saying some months it was up, some months it's down. He's lying. He moved the goalpost.
I didn't cite those numbers, and it's written
Yes,
down like it was part of my opening statement. It's written down literally. It says average monthly game 0.24 for Trump, average monthly game 0.29 for Biden. Rob is lying. Rob didn't understand what I was saying.
That's literally making my point. That literally makes my point, you dumb bastard.
Shut the fuck up, dumb piece of shit. Shut the fuck up for 12 seconds.
Okay.
Just shut the fuck up. It's not your turn.
You want me to put a
dumb
sign
bitch. Yeah, it's written on my paper. You can go look at the edit
measuring,
history.
Gentlemen.
It's like it is what it is. Rob didn't understand what I was saying, and that's
He's too stupid. Real quick. Please. He's too stupid to realize he just proved my point. My point was this. Yep. The number he was citing was just wage growth, not real wage growth. That's what he cited. I said we shouldn't prefer that. We should prefer real wage growth. He then said, no, that is real wage growth. I said, no, I don't think prove it. Then he said it was average monthly. Okay, now he's back. Do you see how fucking ridiculous it is? Now he's back to the original argument. Show the source that shows that Biden's real wage growth was up like 2.4% month over month.
We can pull it again.
This is leftist debate. There's no positions. There's just principles.
I would
be the other way. There's no principles. There's just positions.
All right.
When I need it for me here,
over each other, I start reading money, and you all shut up and take a deep breath for a minute. Basil says this is a Christian nationalist channel. Sarah the Raging Tomato is a Doug Wilson plant. What's a Doug Wilson plant?
Doug Wilson? What?
To just give you that's the guy that Pete Hegseth just retweeted that was like, women shouldn't vote. That's Doug Wilson.
Basil also says, I propose the following debate topic. Is Sarah the Raging Tomato a Christian nationalist puppet? Oh, all right. Have fun with that one, chat. I just wanted to ask RTP and Rob when the greasy orange tyrant will release the files unredacted.
When the courts allow, maybe?
He could release them unredacted now. We're talking about the grand jury testimony. You have to rely on the courts, but he could release everything now if he wanted to. He just doesn't want to do it for some reason.
Sure.
Unless
why didn't Biden want to do it?
Unless intelligence agencies warn.
I don't know. I think Biden probably didn't release it because there's intelligence conflicts there, and Biden's kind of a cuck to Israel, just like Trump is, just like everybody is.
Do you think that's? Hang on. Do you think that's the reason, RTP, or do you think it's because Obama gave him such a sweetheart deal and made him an FBI informant?
Who?
Epstein.
That Biden made Epstein an FBI? Obama made. I don't know.
You don't know?
Let's see.
I know that he was an FBI informant.
Well, hang on. When do you think, under whose administration was Epstein brought in as an FBI informant?
I think that was 2007. Is that right?
Whose administration?
That was 2007, right? I just want to make sure that's the right year.
Bush.
Can you just tell me
it was around the time 2007,
I think it was Bush, wasn't it?
That made him an FBI informant, gave him the sweetheart deal?
I think it was in 2007.
Why don't you pull it up real quick? Pull it up.
And he got the sweetheart deal in Florida. That was 2007, right?
I'm not sure.
Pulling
Shocker,
that up,
I'm right again.
RTP dismantled Rob's talking points and conspiracy theories on the origins of Russia investigation. Thanks for educating us and hopefully his followers. RTP, you look pretty soft. RTP's views are virgin views, like Mary, Immaculate Conception, I guess.
Sorry.
That's okay. Yeah, go ahead and respond. I'll
non-prosecution agreement was in 2007 under Obama, and then that
who?
Under Bush. I meant Bush. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sorry. But I was good. But then Acosta, the guy who gave him that sweetheart deal, then Trump's like, "Hey, you should come work in my administration." And by the way, Pam Bondi, who oversaw it, you should work in my administration too.
Yeah.
And Dershowitz, why don't you go defend?
So therefore, Kamala would have been a better president. That's the conclusion from this.
When to bring this up, you just basically showed that Trump's entire administration has been all over Epstein for like over 10 years.
So I just want to make sure then. So before Obama, this guy's an FBI informant under Obama's administration, correct?
And Bush, yeah, and so
how come Obama didn't say anything about the fact that Epstein was working with the FBI in order to bring people to this island in order to blackmail them? Do you think?
I don't know.
Do you think that if it were the case that we found out that Obama knew that there was blackmail, this type of blackmail going on, that Biden would have some sort of like incentive in order to cover up this legacy? RTP?
Sure.
Yeah. So do you think it stands to reason that's what happened?
I think that that's a possible reason.
Yeah, well, could you
but
give me any other reason? Like just from inductive reasons. Just from inductive
because that would be
reasoning.
bad for his argument, Andrew. That would be bad for his argument.
Seems like we're shifting a little bit.
I don't know what's going on.
I'm
What
now
is
you
this?
all
They don't know what
know
to do with
better than to start doing
Well,
that.
I'm just asking. I'm just going to ask real quick, inductively. Could you come up with any other explanation other than that he did not want to release this because it would have made the Obama administration look really bad, thus making him look bad since he was the VP in that administration, and they were working on blackmail during Obama's administration, flying out various people to an island in order to sexually blackmail them?
Could I come up with other?
What would be a more plausible explanation than that?
I think that's impossible to say, honestly. Like we don't know enough details. But I could say that there's. Well, I could offer different. I could offer different explanations, but it would be hard to say like which one is more likely, right? Like how would we prove which one's more likely?
I think that you can demonstrate this pretty easy. The Obama administration was there for 2 terms. You agree?
Yeah.
And Epstein was running as an FBI informant during those 2 terms, flying people out to PDF File Island, right? During those 2 administrations under Obama's FBI. Why is it that they never released anything on Epstein?
Well, believe it or not, there's a history of our FBI and our intelligence agencies not keeping the president abreast of what's going on.
So you think that they hid it from Obama?
They could have.
So Trump has every reason not to trust the FBI?
What's that?
Trump has every reason not to trust the FBI because they hide things from him? Oh, okay.
Sure.
so now one last question for you.
I haven't made any claims about
I just have one last question for you.
Yeah.
You say that you're not a Democrat or a progressive.
Correct.
What is your political affiliation?
I'm a registered Republican, but just because I live in an area where like Andy Biggs is my congressman, so if I want to vote, it's basically the primary is the only way I can have impact. I voted for Gary Johnson in 2020, and I voted for Harris this last time begrudgingly.
Yeah, that's not what I'm not asking who you voted for. I'm just asking if you had to summarize your politics, what would the summarization be?
I don't know that you could. I think that
you can't summarize your politics.
I would say that I don't. There's not. See, you do this all the time. You think because you're an ideologue, everybody else is.
No, I'm not. I'm just asking you to give a summarization of your politics.
What is it that you think? I'm not Andrew. So what do you think about politics? Let's start there. That's all he's asking you
about politics. I think.
Would you call yourself a socialist, libertarian?
No.
What would you call yourself?
Closest
I wouldn't
to
call myself anything.
Retard.
Let me ask you this real quick. You voted for Gary Johnson in 2020, and yet you're a horrible dissenter of trickle-down economics, so you voted for a libertarian?
Well, I used to be a Republican. Like I worked on Romney's presidential campaign. I was a Republican most of my life. So I went from
you're just confused,
to, like libertarian to. Well, I'm not confused. It's just that I accept new data, and I whatever argument.
Well, hang on. Maybe we can try this a different way.
I'm MAGA atheist. I'm not in any box.
What if we just ask this way?
Andrew, shut the fuck up. Let me finish my answer.
Dude, calm down. I just want to make sure.
Crazy. I know, but just shut the fuck up for a second.
Yeah, but I just want the actual.
It's politic fluid.
I'm doing it with a smile on my face.
It was such a basic question.
Yeah,
you're not answering.
I don't identify with any of these.
Okay, so
all of them are pretty flawed.
So you're at a party, and this like 25-year-old hottie toddy that you're interested in comes over and sits down.
25-year-old.
Okay, and says, "Hey, man." Right, like okay, 35, okay, 65, whatever you're interested in.
Now we're talking
16. I mean,
the 65-year-old. The 65-year-old geriatric comes in and sits down and says, "Hey, Sonny, can you explain what your politics are?" Your answer is, "Well, I don't fucking know." Or do you have an actual answer?
My answer is, you should watch my show. You can figure it out. You can judge for yourself.
Okay, so you can't give a summarization for your actual.
I'm good.
No, I'm not an ideologue. I know this is very.
That's not ideology. That's just asking you what your political persuasion.
That's just ideas. Ideas and ideology are different things.
The reason that you guys all want to do this is because you have a hard time attacking arguments. But what you do.
Okay, so make an argument as to why Kamala would be better.
You loop everything in. That's what you guys like to do. So you want to loop me in with other people that think like me rather than having a real.
I just want a summarization of your politics. That's all I'm asking for.
And while you think about the summarization of your politics, I would
then give us a long one.
Pardon me for just a moment. I'd like to tell everyone I am shutting down the tomato side and moving over to the gauntlet. Either go to the link that I'm dropping in the chat now or follow the raid. Thank you. Okay, back to you.
I can sum it up for him. Orange man bad.
Yep.
That's your politics. Just admit it. Say it with your chest.
So, but fine. Let's go a different direction then. Why do you think that Kamala would be better? Just your bottom line. Kamala would be better because.
So I think that just if you look at either Yale Budget Lab or CBO scoring, just on the very fact that she would have reduced deficit spending and Trump increases deficit spending, just that alone is plenty for me.
So you believe that she would have kept every single promise that she made?
No, what I'm left to believe is
that so then what you actually mean to say?
You guys got to let me finish at some point. You didn't even let me answer that question before you went again. What I'm saying is that, and Rob and I agreed this at the beginning of the debate. All I can do is I can guess what she would have done in order for her to accomplish her agenda. She would have also had to win the House. So we're living in a hypothetical world, but in a hypothetical world where she won in the same way that Trump did, yes, I would say that the policies, the tax policies specifically, she wanted to push through. Those were pretty popular with Democrats. Those would have been the policies. And then I look at the CBO scoring. I look at the Yale Budget Lab. I look at the Penn-Wharton model. And all of them say that she would have reduced deficit spending. And all of them say Trump increases deficit spending. That's a win.
So just a quick question for you. Were these same economists, when they were discussing the first term of Trump before he got in, were they projecting doom and gloom by chance?
They were projecting he would increase deficit spending, and he did.
Were they making any sort of projections that the stock market would crash?
I'd have to go back and look at them. I'm not sure if they talked specifically about the stock market.
Well, why don't you name one real quick again, and I'll go look
Yale
it
Budget
up
Lab.
for you.
Yale Budget Lab.
While you're going through that, Basil says, Andrew, Craig, the flat earth guy, said he demolished you in a debate and can't wait to do it again in Nashville. Who's the bigger shill?
I saw that debate. Andrew won, and I'm an atheist.
I'm
never
thrilled
forget,
to know Andrew's not a flat earther. That makes me happy.
Never forget, Radical Coder
Craig's
called
not
Sara
a flat earther either.
Oh. Never forget,
so,
Radical Coder.
Now you just look dumb because you don't know. Just saying.
Yeah.
Craig
actually goes against. Yeah, he goes against flat earthers. Never forget, Radical Coder called Sara a racist.
Surprise.
Andrew, what?
Right.
I very much approve.
Andrew Wilson, you look like a chubby guy. Would Jesus approve? RTP does not have a phallus to measure. There's no contest. Shots fired.
It's going to look small. It's going to look small compared to that nose. That's for sure.
Fair enough. RTP, the type of guy to open a bag of chips with some scissors. All right, that's pretty funny, actually. Luca says, based, Rob. RTP, founders of Yale Budget Office, all worked in Biden administration. Is this optically a good source for a debate comparing Trump to him and Harris?
Who are the founders of the Yale Budget Office that worked in the Biden administration? Just let me know who they are. And no, that by itself would not be disqualifying. That's crazy.
Fair enough. Two more, and then we'll move on. RTP, bro, come on. We live in the same area. It's not some super far right Christian Mecca. A Dem is our governor. Stop.
I don't think I ever said that I live in a far right Christian Mecca. I think I said that Andy Biggs was my congressman. I think is what I said.
That's fair, though.
And he wins with like 70% of the vote. So it's just like my only chance is that during the primaries to vote.
That's fair.
Fair enough. The Tard Wrangler says, I've been slacking on my wrangling duties the last few weeks. My bad, Sara. New job has been hellacious. Thank you, Tard Wrangler. I've been picking up.
If I can real quick, I guess this was bad form not to ask, but can you show me the CBO predictions of Kamala's plan? You said would decrease.
You can pull it up.
No, go ahead. Because I'm looking and it says
No.
the CB. I can't find it. I'm looking and it
You're
says
look-
this.
you need to look at the 2025 Biden budget, which is what she was her economic policy. So you're looking at the 2025 budget from Biden, and that's what they did the CBO score on. And because she said that those were her policies as well, that's the scoring I went by.
So just to be clear, when you were saying things about price controls for groceries, that doesn't include in that budget, right? You
Correct.
said her plan was going to be different. So how do you square that circle? You said you assume her economic plan would be different than Biden's, but now you're saying that the Congressional Budget Office said that her policies would lower 1.4, and you're admitting that her policies would be different than Biden.
Actually, just
You
so
mean,
you know,
I mean, just like that was a question for me, Andrew. I know this is
yeah,
confusing.
I was just saying the
this
Yale
is a question-
alumni.
this
That
a
is
question
true.
for me. Real quick, let me answer this question. Then you
Yeah,
can
he was
go, Andrew.
right.
That we'll take turns. Yeah, I don't think that price controls on grocery stores or I guess margin controls were factored into the CBO budget. I think you'd have a hard case saying that like that somehow would radically change or even marginally change the CBO scoring. That's wild.
So the CBO predicted, it gave a prediction of what Biden's policies would be in 2025, and it said
No.
that it would lower deficits by $1.4 trillion.
Something like that. Yeah.
Who is breathing like heavily into their mic? Somebody is like freakishly breathing and it's driving me up a wall. If you're not talking, please mute.
I'm reading that. Let's see. I'll look for this, but that's what you're saying that that it said that it would lower the deficit.
Yeah. What was the number? Let me go back. Where was it? I remember the
Now,
exact.
you understand
it was 1 point something. I don't remember exactly.
You
what it was.
understand that the deficit's different than the debt, correct?
Yes. Deficit
Okay,
spending is what I
so
was talking about.
then it wasn't going to. It was still going to be deficit spending, and it wasn't going to lower the national debt anyway.
I said deficit spending, but it would lower the rate of increase. Like if you reduce deficit spending, it doesn't increase at the same rate, right?
Okay,
right, Rob?
Okay. No, I understand. I'm just making it clear that your argument isn't that they were going to lower the debt. You're not making that argument.
Correct.
Okay, thanks.
Anyway, yeah, that claim was correct on the Yale alumni.
Raise it less
It
quick.
is true that the Yale Budget Office is indeed stacked with former Biden officials. That is actually true. Did you know that?
Well, what he
I
said
didn't
was
know
the
that until right now.
What he said was the founders of the Yale Budget Lab. were
No,
Biden
he didn't
officials?
say that. Pull up the super chat,
Sarah,
Sarah.
will you pull it again? It said the
Yeah,
founders.
pull
I'm
it
pretty
up.
Sure.
No, I don't think so.
The super chat.
Yeah.
This one, founders of Yale
founders.
Budget Office.
Oh yeah, get fucked again, Andrew. Every time you and Rob both are the worst listeners I've ever debated. That's why it sucks to debate you because you never.
You don't remember all the words.
So I just want to make
founders and members, founders and people who work in the administration are two different things. I answered honestly. I said I don't know if the founders were in the Biden administration. So that's what he was supposed to look up, but he's not a good active listener, and either is Rob. That's why it's not fun to debate them because they're just in their own world while you're talking.
It's not fun to debate because you don't do so well, and you were inaccurate in what you said over and over. Over and over again, you were inaccurate in what you were saying. You constantly move the goalposts, including even at these closing statements. Like once we get into open panel, you're too fucking stupid to realize that you're literally reversing your position back on sort of like the wage growth, real wage growth. You're literally bouncing back and forth and changing what you said over and over again.
I would just ask though, doesn't it stand though that he is saying that this place is staffed with former Biden administration officials? Isn't that optically bad for you? I don't
care if it's
stands.
The reason I chose the Yale Budget Lab is they were actually they were the most favorable to Trump. So that's why I didn't choose Wharton. That's why I didn't choose the CBO. The reason I chose Yale is because that gives you guys the most favorable numbers. So it is kind of a weird argument to say it's staffed by Biden folks, and yet they give Trump the most favorable numbers, right?
Yeah. So that wasn't the question, though.
Yeah.
Can you repeat my question?
Right. Yeah, your question
sure
was: does it stand the fact that they the people worked that are staffed? Biden staff runs Yale budget. Does that mean that their numbers are fake? No, you can look at the numbers, but this is again.
Would you accept that from former Trump? Would you accept that from former Trump staffers?
100%. If they're
100%,
no principles, just positions.
I would look. No, this is not. I would look at the math, you dipshit. I only care about the math. I don't give a fuck.
Hang on. Well, if that's hang on, I just want to make sure. I just want to make sure I got this correct. You did the math yourself, or are you just citing sources?
No, I would do the math. I would. Say
You
this
aren't
math
doing
is
any
here.
math. You're citing sources. You didn't do any math.
Oh, and what are you doing? You're.
Oh, I'm
scaring
asking you.
sources.
Did you actually do math, or are you just citing sources?
No, I said if I wanted to know if these Biden officials were making up numbers, I would do the math. I didn't say I did the math. I said that's how I
You
would find
just
out.
said you did the math.
You did just say that.
I wouldn't
He
stop.
said, "Are
I
you
wouldn't
citing sources,
stop.
or did you do the
I
math?"
wouldn't
And you said,
stop.
"I did the math."
wouldn't
I did the
stop.
So
math.
maybe you're not a
I
good
wouldn't
listener.
stop.
I don't know. Maybe you're.
Stop.
All
wouldn't
right,
stop.
all right. Just for the record, backstage I have Zerzus, Ryan, Colby, and Grumple Stiltskin. If you want to see any of them up, please feel free to boot someone else. And then Abe, what do you got for us? You got a question?
I was going to ask, does RTP think that profit is made on margin or is it made on the cost?
I don't think profit is made on the margin. The cost is where you're setting your baseline. And I think I mentioned specifically that included like labor. That was all in cost. So it wasn't just cost of good. It was also labor and expenses on top of that. So the margin is on top of all of that cost, right?
Well, the cost is the origination point. Margin is generally where profit is made. So when you stack the margin on top of whatever the product is, that's where your profit is made, not at the cost margin, not at the cost level.
And by the way, actually, the chatter was also right.
Andrew,
the Budget Lab is founded by a bunch of he's actually right. The fucking it's true. It was founded by a bunch of fucking Biden administration fucks in 2024. Seriously, it's not a joke. Look it up right now.
You just weren't listening, Andrew.
I believe you. When he said it was founded by them, I said.
So you were making a pedantic argument that I got a word wrong?
That's what they do.
I didn't make a.
You fucking loser! You fucking loser! You took the fat L on that one, bro. It was founded by him. He was right.
Andrew simultaneously jacking himself off and patting himself on the back again. It's what you guys all do. No, I just said when he said.
Yeah, because he just caught you being retarded.
Can I finish? When they said.
I'd rather you didn't.
Of the Yale Budget Lab were Biden administration. I said, "Is that true?" I don't even know if that's.
No, you didn't say. Was that true?
And then
oh my God!
Look it up.
Co-partner. Just take that out. Be like, all right, I didn't know. All right, I didn't know. I was asking, I didn't know. Now you guys are right. Just say that.
Let them go back and forth. Your meta commentary is just making it harder to follow.
I will bet you $1,000 that I did not say it wasn't true. Do you want to take that bet?
Well, no, what you said was, no, I don't think that's the case. With your bullshit.
Oh, I said, la. That's
it's a paraphrase.
Yeah, you never know. You
may as well.
You just want to sit here and beat off to take a fat L. You're fucking 65 years old, Andrew. You should be saying fat L
tonight.
Yeah, do you think that optically it's bad for you that the founders, like the Super Chat asked, of the Yale Budget Committee are a bunch of former Biden administration? No.
I don't think so. I think only if you're like a little bitch like you, then now it's a little.
Everyone's a little bitch. I didn't call you any names.
Well, you are. No, I called you that.
I know. You can't help yourself.
Yeah,
is it because you're bald? Is it because you're bald?
I'm not bald. You can go look on
Pull the hair off. Pull the hat off. Pull the hat off, Baldy. Come on.
You can go look on my channel.
Pull the hat off, Baldy. Come on.
Talk about substance.
You got to pay extra for that, Andrew.
All right. I would much rather talk about money. Johnny says RTP's ideology is exactly that of the white supremacist he hates.
Oh.
Roses are red, violets are blue. Oh, sorry. That's a bad one. Sorry, didn't see that. RTP, last to Andrew, now Rob. You don't watch on YouTube. Andrew Wilson unearths a psychopath by the aristocratic utensil. Yeah. RTP couldn't be any more clueless. Yeah, did you see that? The Spoon did a review really on funny. You.
He basically said that you were a psychopath who just looked at people as commodities.
Based.
He
sounds like a leftist.
Oh, that's nice. Appreciate it.
So I think I'm about to get kicked, but I have a quick question of clarification. Like earlier, we were talking about the tariff policy and how Rob was comparing it to like just raising taxes on the 1%. Rob, don't you agree that like way more business owners who are not in the 1% of earners, who are like small business owners who just import goods from outside the country, are going to be more likely to be impacted by the tariffs, and also they are less likely to be able to absorb that, and they're going to have to pass it on to the consumer more so than like Amazon or Walmart, who are
yes, it is true.
Anyway.
it is true if the taxation was just on the top 1%. However, what we see is that tax cuts benefit those same middle class people as well. And so what you'll end up seeing is that there's going to be some winners and some losers. But because the status quo is unsustainable, particularly for U.S. manufacturing, it will be more wins for those people if Trump's policies work out as predicted. We've already seen that with the trade deals, with all the investment opportunities that are being put forth, with the fact that things like U.S. manufacturing of automobiles will now be under less reciprocal tariffs from places like Europe, which will open up that market. It also encourages, because of a baseline tariff, for companies that elsewise would have went to cheap labor countries like Mexico or China to build those products in the United States, because they know that their products won't be as competitive if people domestically have to pay those tariff prices. So they'll be outcompeted by people in the huge U.S. market that are producing those things back home.
And when you say
I guess all that's
successful
certainly
as
possible.
predicted,
Yeah, go ahead.
you mean, of course, by Trump, because there's virtually no economist that says this will be successful.
No, that's not true. You are
Right.
right that just like the first term, when all of these virtually no economists said his economy would do well, people like Paul Krugman that get all these prestigious awards,
That
they
the
were
stock
absolutely
market would
fucking
crash.
right. The stock market was going to crash within
Did the
6
Yale
months.
budget
It
office
reached-
say that, Andrew, like you claimed earlier? Did they say that?
I never claimed it.
You said,
I asked-
did they say
no,
it? And then
no,
you looked
no.
it
I
up.
just asked
Did they
you.
say it?
Yeah.
Did they say it, though?
They weren't even there to say it.
Who was the economist that said the stock market would crash, Andrew?
Krugman?
Krugman, okay. And
Paul
am I
Krugman?
relying on Krugman for any of my arguments?
Not just Krugman. There was
No.
many of them.
But
And
The problem is
I
they
rely
said this. They
I
said
bet you,
this.
I bet you anything that some of these think tanks, that some of
the
these
people
think
that
tanks,
I've relied on,
I
did
bet
any
you
of them
that some of these
predict
think tanks do actually probably have relations to Paul
probably.
Krugman's NGOs.
Probably.
You know, some
Yeah.
of those large
Look,
corporations
I'll take a
would be.
second. I'll take a second to
Some
look
of
it up.
those-
I bet you that that's true. Not only that, Ryan, let me ask you a question real quick. As you asked Rob about consumers and prices going up for them, is it true that if the Trump tax cuts expire on corporations, that consumer prices will also go up because they're going to move those, what they would have gotten in those tax breaks onto the consumer? Isn't that the case?
It's possible, yeah.
Possible or likely?
I'm not sure. I think it's possible.
You're not
I don't
sure?
know for sure.
I think it would be
definitely could
likely
happen, yeah.
using the same rationale. Now, Coder, in all fairness, I think you
more
bring up a
likely with
good
a
point.
tariff, though, than
It's not
a
going to be.
general
It's
tax,
not.
right?
It's not going to be a one-to-one thing. You're absolutely right. That like, if,
Mm-hmm.
for example, if you just said, "Well, fuck it, we'll tax everyone that's a billionaire. We'll take half their worth." Yeah, they'll be able to pass that cost on to consumers in the industries they're in, but that's certainly not going to be as many industries as sort of small businesses that maybe have to pay through tariffs. Absolutely true. However, it's not just that simple. The tax cuts ended up benefiting almost all Americans. Of course, the people that pay taxes will benefit more than those people that don't pay in taxes. But that sort of spurred the good economy that we saw under Trump until the pandemic hit. Those numbers were very good, and that's sort of the approach that's being used here. And by the way, RTP can't even
By the
keep
way,
his story straight.
Paul Krugman cites the Yale Budget Office. This is just a cursory search, but almost more than any other thing that he cites. I just want to point that out in the last year.
And
he
yet they
cited
didn't
that more
predict
than
that.
almost anything else.
And yet
I'm
they
just
didn't
pointing this
predict
out.
that. And yet
You know,
they
a lot
didn't-
of the
they didn't
larger
predict what?
organizations have
They
shown.
They didn't
Hi,
predict
Ryan.
that Trump would. They didn't predict that Trump would, or that Trump would destroy our economy. Did they?
They weren't. They didn't exist.
Your argument is that
Good
he
evening.
cites them, and therefore they agree with him because he cites.
No,
them?
that he would agree with them. The guy who cites them was the guy who was saying that Trump was going to literally destroy the entire stock market, was going to crash in the first 6 months.
Yeah, that's
what
an
Krugman
indictment.
said.
That's an indictment on Krugman, not on the Yale Budget Lab.
I agree. It's an indictment on Krugman. I'm just pointing out to you that this is the type
why I
of
don't
data
cite
that
Krugman.
this guy cites, the same type
Right.
you're citing.
No one
You can
thought that
take
Trump was
data and get
handed
wrong-
an unstable economy, though.
Like you, yes.
But that even makes it work. Like people use this argument in the inverse, right? If the economy was doing very good under Trump, then the fact that it started to get to even increased highs, like for example, wage growth going up from an already decent economy is very good. What Biden had was because of the pandemic, he actually had an economy that was bottoming out. And so a lot of the numbers that you see there are actually really bad because he was unable to have good improvements, including things like inflation and job growth, etc., that you would have expected had that trend continued without something like the pandemic hitting. So the idea, like this is always in the inverse. For example, if inflation's already 100% year over year, so milk used to cost $2 a gallon and now it costs $4 a gallon, you would expect that next year for there to be a break. If the inflation goes up 20% from that already high number, that's even worse. That's the sort of thing we're seeing. So when people say, actually, the economy was doing pretty good that Trump was handed, right, and he took it to even higher heights. Had the economy been doing poor, it would have been easy for him to get the exact same percentage increase numbers that we're talking about.
But Rob, how do you square that with the chart that we looked at, and was something you admitted in the debate that like wage growth for the past 30 years has just been a graph that goes like this?
That's
it
wage
almost
growth.
seems like it almost seems like no matter what the president does, like real wages tend to go up, right?
Even here, you once more fuck up. Wage growth is different than real wage growth.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about what you cited. Real wage growth.
The study that you cited that said wage growth is basically just a straight line up. Is that real wage growth or regular wage growth?
It was a study. That was what you cited. You said real wages go up.
No. I said wages.
Were you citing wage growth?
I said that we should prefer real wage growth because wages will always tend to trend up. Very rarely are you going to see actual, imagine this. You're at your job, right? And they're like, oh, you've been here 3 years, so we're going to take $1 an hour away from you. It tends that jobs tend to give more and more money as money supply increases. The metric that we should use instead that's not a straight line up is real wage growth, which is wage growth, how much is being paid out, minus inflation. So the actual purchasing power.
Okay, so when you were citing that earlier, you were citing real wages, not real wages, just wages in general, right?
No, real wage.
But you said that the graph goes up like this, so I didn't know if you were talking about wages or real wages.
When I was talking, I said, you keep talking about wage growth. We shouldn't prefer that. We should prefer real wage growth. Because if we looked at a graph of wage growth, it would just basically be like a straight, a diagonal up. It might go up or it's never going to go down. That's why we shouldn't prefer it. Instead, we should be looking, what's interesting is how much can people's dollar get them? So if I'm making $1,000 a month, right, and things are relatively cheap, that might be okay. But if I make $1,100 a month, oh boy, I just made $100 more, but inflation went up 30%. Now I could buy less shit, less staples that I need to live. That's real wage growth. That would mean my wage growth went down, even though my wages went up because of the high pressure of inflation. I could buy less shit.
So when we look at real wage growth and we compare that to output, when do we see, like, for a lot of years, like from the 50s on, those were pretty much together. When did we see them separate? When did you see like the real wage growth and output separate?
Define output. I'm not sure I know exactly what you're talking about.
They are saying like let me read exactly how they're
Who's they?
Let's see. This is from Bureau of Labor and Statistics. They are saying output per hour is.
Google it, Rob. Google it.
The balance between. Let's see.
I mean, you asked that question like you knew what it meant. Like,
no,
you
I'm
have
asking,
to look it up.
No, Rob,
I don't know what the term output's
Rob,
referring to.
Not,
so anyone could help you.
Rob, it's not a gotcha. I'm asking you a question.
I don't know what the term means. Why did you ask about the term if you don't know what it means either?
Well, because if you look at like real wages, it's kind of like this, right? And then it levels off about in the 80s, and we've had like some spikes, but the real leveling off took place about 82-ish. Is that fair?
I don't know. That might be about true. I would have to look it up. Let's look at the data.
What was a big change in America around 82?
Well, there was all sorts of changes that we saw.
What was the biggest one? Tax policy wise.
Well, I think that, would you admit that it wouldn't happen immediately, that it's probably something that would be generational that would affect this? I think that maybe real wage growth declining might have to do with women entering the workforce. That's probably something that massively devalued people's, that we needed two sources. I would say that's probably a big reason.
It's women, not run. It's not trickle down economics. Whatever. It's women. It's anything but trickle down economics.
Well, I just want to point this out real quick, Rob. There's a couple things that maybe you need to know. There's RTP Talks, Hate Your Life. Capitalism is to blame. In this video, we dissect the pervasive impact of capitalism on everyday life, and we explore how capitalism's at the root of many societal issues, from job dissatisfaction to the slow pace of NFL games.
He's proud of himself.
He says, on another one, this is 2024, universal health care Hang
are
on,
NFL
bro.
games-
Hang on.
why do
Calm
they
down.
take so long?
Calm down,
That's
bro.
a good argument.
Calm down. Universal health care, how it can lift Americans out of poverty. But he's not going
Bingo.
to tell us, he's not going to tell us what his political ideology. He's not an ideologue, Rob. He's not an ideologue. This has nothing to do with his general positions, are not left-leaning or progressive. He's a Republican, Rob.
What did
He doesn't
it's weird
have
that-
leftist in his name.
It's
Yeah.
weird that you read the description of those videos rather than watching those videos. I think that's interesting. And what
It's
you'll
almost
see
like
is
we're
that-
on a panel where we're talking to people. They
Hang on,
can't
hang
watch
on,
videos.
RTP. That's
Fuck
fair.
up.
That's
And
fair.
That's
So I'll just ask you: Is capitalism to blame for why people hate their life?
Just real quick. That is an auto-generated caption through OpenClip. So that's why you should
Worse
watch
for
the
you.
video.
That's
and
worse
what the
for you.
video, And what the video says is that.
So just answer the question then. We don't care about the video.
I'm answering.
He asked
the
you a question.
He is
well,
answering. Jeez.
I'm not defending that. The video says, like, specifically what he mentioned in there, the long length of NFL games, that's due to capitalism.
Okay, so hang on. Hate your
So
life.
Oh no!
Hang
Yeah,
on.
but
Hate your life.
that being said,
Capitalism. Oh,
But there
okay.
are parts of capitalism that I like. I think there are ways like free market
Mhm.
capitalism. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It has to operate in an actual free market. If you're operating in a
So
market
you
that
walk-
doesn't operate.
But what you actually said.
cool with both. I like mixed
Okay.
economies.
Well, what you
I don't think a socialist economy is ideal. I don't think a capitalist economy is ideal. I don't think there is one that we could even look at. I think everybody in this world knows that mixed economy is the best way to handle your economy, and yet we still, like dipshits, argue capitalism versus socialism. No, but there are
Yeah,
no
because
socialists.
people like you
There
argue
are
for
no
socialism.
capitalist countries.
We all agree
hang on.
capitalism is great.
But RTP. But RTP. This is.
100% correct.
But it's a sliding scale, right?
So our economy, it's socialist and capitalist.
Yeah, but
The
you.
base
But it's a
of our
sliding
economy-
scale.
Economy is both.
Yeah, but it would be
Well,
a
then
sliding
ask me where-
scale. Which thing
well, then
does it
ask me where I
favor?
think.
Which thing does it favor towards? Well, I'm trying to, but you wouldn't. You cut me
Neither.
off before I could ask the question.
You want
Is it the
centrist.
case that you say we explore how capitalism is at the root of many societal issues? Job dissatisfaction, slow pace of NFL games, constraints on athletes, unchecked capitalism persists. What can be done about it? Hashtag social commentary, societal issues, right? So what societal issues
I didn't write that.
particularly?
I don't know why you're asking me to defend something.
So
I didn't
why are
write.
you representing
I'm
that
just
under your
asking
name?
I'm just asking you what societal issues like job dissatisfaction, things like this, should we
Yeah,
blame
I've explained
capitalism
job.
for?
I've explained that to you actually in our debate, but you don't listen.
I'm listening now.
Yeah, tying your medical care and your insurance to your job makes it so that there's a lot of people that are kind of forced to stick with the job rather than maybe going out and doing something on their own and starting their own business. Because
There
if
are
you have
other
a
options for
family-
that.
If there are other options, but it's more difficult, and I think that capitalism clearly doesn't work when it comes to health.
It's hard.
That's why we're the most expensive with terrible outcomes.
So, Sarah, I'd like to address the elephant in the room if
What
I
do you mean?
can.
Wait.
I
What do
like
you mean terrible outcomes? You mean terrible outcomes in medical care?
Yeah, we have our outcomes compared to other like rich countries are
I
not
believe
very good.
Caesar should have
Okay,
something.
outcomes for what? For what type of
Andrew,
medical
I've
care?
already debated this with you, and if you want to go back and watch our debate,
You didn't
and listen
debate
to the
with me
very
on
first
medical
time-
outcomes. What are you talking about?
Oh wait, never mind. That was the next debate. My bad. That was the other one on Raging Tomato. My bad. You can go watch that. I debated this on this channel. You can go rewatch it.
Oh, the healthcare one. It was a thread
Yeah.
on Thursday. It was an
Joe.
open panel debate. While I have the floor, I'm just going to get through a couple more.
But
of
you're not
these.
an ideologue, right?
No.
No.
What's my ideology, Andrew?
I would say leftist.
Uh,
progressive.
number one ranked leftist. I don't know.
That was
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
for you guys
Who would
to
know? Wwho would ever think?
That was
Who did the
I was
ranking?
gonna- that was to make you guys
Baseball
mad.
says
was gonna say
Wilson
Sarah
was
did it.
the Epstein suite deal negotiated by Alex Acosta. Any thoughts on that? No, I don't know what it is.
Alex Acosta
Google-
was Trump's Secretary of Labor who gave Epstein the sweetheart deal. And
True.
after he gave Epstein that sweetheart deal, Trump made him the Secretary of Labor because Trump's not
Yeah,
trying to
and then we
fuck
had
anything.
2 years of Obama, who this guy was operating as an FBI informant under, and then later Biden, who also released absolutely nothing on Epstein. In fact, is
And
working hand in hand with the administration in order to blackmail political officials on
Was
this
he an
island
FBI informant
by
under Trump?
utilizing sex, right, with underage people. So if you blame Trump for this, you have to indict these other two administrations.
Well, actually, one of the things that people don't understand is that almost all of the charges, specifically these ones that Alex Acosta gave a sweetheart deal to, these all took place in Florida, not the island. Most of the
I understand that.
in New York.
No, nobody's disputing that. But how do you bring?
disputing?
You have to bring in. How do you get brought in as an FBI informant? Usually, what happens is you get charged with something, which could be a 15, 20-year sentence potentially. The FBI says we're going to cut you this deal, right? In exchange for this deal, you're going to do A, B, C, and D for us. That's how people become law enforcement assets.
Thank you for having me on. My name's Colby.
I think he was already an informant though before. I think him already being an informant is what got him that sweetheart deal. And I agree with you. I agree that I don't know why they didn't release it, but Trump also didn't when Trump was president. And Trump's whole base. You like in 2016, you guys were around for QAnon. They were begging to release these files, and instead of releasing the files, he died under Trump's care. Then the video goes missing. So they're like, "Oh, we don't have the video. It's just gone. We have no idea where this video is. Oh, he died. Don't worry, Bill Barr took care of it." And then all of a sudden, the video exists.
Under Trump's care,
the video's not there.
Yeah, but
and now
real quick,
RTP.
RTP. If you had a list that could potentially blackmail all these powerful elites, why would you release the list? Because you release the list no longer has power.
I never believed that there was a list.
Hold on.
Yeah, so all this is fee-fees, ma-fee-fees. I don't have any objective facts. I'm a borderline socialist, but I don't want to say it because basically socialism is retarded.
I didn't bring this.
Yeah.
I didn't bring this up. You guys brought this up. I'm
You did
answering
bring it
your
up.
questions.
I
brought up Epstein.
Yeah.
Who was
Also,
talking? Who did I
Biden-
just respond to? Oh, yeah, you. So what are you talking about? It doesn't even take accountability.
That's
You are a
all
leftist.
leftists
So I don't know if
What are you
Biden
talking
never
about?
ran on releasing those files, right? Like Trump explicitly kept saying he was going to release all these
Yeah, and
different
he's a
files,
dick.
and when he was
What
asked
does that
about
have to
Epstein,
do
he
All
What?
right.
Yes,
you
yeah, and he's
guys
a dick
are
for that.
all
Release the
over each other, and then I'm just
They're
going to
all-
read some more super chats so you can all shut the fuck up for a minute. Google, did the founders of the Yale Budget Lab work in Biden administration? I believe Andrew did something along those lines. Basil, why'd you filter my Alex Costa super chat? I didn't, just kind of moving through them as quickly as I can, but they won't shut up. RTP, just say your ideology is anti-Trump because you justify flip-flopping. There are so many better to attack Trump without your TDS.
I'm pretty. Yeah, look, I'm complimentary of Trump when he does things when he does things well, and I'm critical when he doesn't. And some of the things are going to be because of how I view the world. I'm very comfortable saying that most of you in here are very happy with how he handled the border. I'm not, but for what you wanted, he did a great job.
Fair enough.
Is that TDS?
Damn, Sarah's a tyrant when it comes to super chats. We're nothing more than a $sign to her. Jeez, we have to simp to her. Love you, Sarah. Thank you, Saint,
Never
for
forget it.
fixing that
$sign to me.
bad one. Oh yeah, that's right. Andrew lets me run this channel.
Thank you for that, Andrew.
It is very kind of me. Yes.
He's like Dude McScrook. Every time he goes to bed, he's got a pool of gold that he just dives into and he swims around.
Oh my goodness. Who gave Epstein the sweetheart deal? Was it the Palm Beach sheriff or the Southern District of Florida attorney? I don't know if this is. Anybody have a thought? I don't know.
I don't think it was the Palm Beach sheriffs. I think that was a state charge. I think the Palm Beach sheriff is where he was. He was like in the county jail, which is crazy. Epstein got work release the whole time he was in jail. He was going home and abusing children while he was in prison. And then Trump said, "Let's make that guy the Secretary of Labor, and let's make Pam Bondi the Attorney General over our country." I'm so tired of people bringing up Epstein, like Trump's a whole cabinet isn't all over that.
Well,
that's crazy. Isn't it also real quick? Isn't it also true that Trump said in 2003 in a magazine that Epstein was a terrific guy who likes beautiful women almost as much as he does? Many of them on the younger side.
The reason why
so now we're taking Trump at exactly his word,
The
right?
reason why you guys aren't impartial and you have Trump derangement syndrome is that the Democrats literally just put a guy in office who could not walk up a flight of stairs.
Yeah, I want to speak to this point also because Andrew was asking.
And then we're like, well, actually, Trump hired this one person that I don't even know his fucking name, but Trump's clearly the bad guy.
First of all, Trump stumbles all the time, but second of all, Andrew,
you really want to make that comparison?
I'm sorry. Do all five of you need to respond because I started a sentence? That's
Just
crazy.
citation needed.
Sharp's the time.
I'm
That's
going to
cool.
go ahead and read super chats again. Oh my God, trying not to laugh. Thank you, BBB. RTP, prove that you aren't bald. Take off the hat, you wimp. I bet if you took it off, that hoodie, you would look like a corpse. Dude, put some weight on. Oh my.
I think you look
Not
handsome
very
on
That's
nice.
the first time. I've never been accused
Spicy
of being
chat.
too skinny
Oh, no.
before. That's the first.
Oh,
I was
no,
gonna flex my
SB.
hair, but I'm probably skinnier than him. So
Put it
I
back
mean,
on, SB.
I'm probably the only person on this panel that was like a college athlete. Was anybody else a college athlete?
I was not.
Okay.
Triple B says, Sarah, I watch often. Tonight is epic. Love your composure. Always a pro. I've just lost patience for stupidity anymore. Here we go. RTP, what does trickle down economics mean? Also, what was the percentage of government revenue in relation to GDP before and after Reagan's trickle down policy? For bonus points, did real government, thank you, revenue grow more than average?
Trickle down economics is supply side economics. It's the idea that if you tax people less, specifically the richest folks, that money will trickle down. What was the percentage of government revenue in relation to the GDP? I'd have to look up. So I don't know the answer to that question. Did real government revenue grow more than average? I'd have to look that up. I'm not sure.
Let's say that it did. Then what?
Let's say that the percentage of government revenue in relation to, I don't think it would really matter. Like you see what's happened to wealth inequality. It's clear that the effects, what they claimed trickle down economics would do and what it did do are not the same.
Can you define what do you mean by wealth inequality in this context?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
So
and how does it impact people?
How does wealth inequality impact people?
Well, how does it make a difference to you if somebody else is a Brazilianaire?
It doesn't necessarily be like on a one-to-one. It's more in totality. It's the ability to access capital. It's safety blankets. You see that like the amount of people that have a savings has precipitously dropped. Home ownership is down, which is a nice safety blanket for people where they can access loans against the equity in their homes. So when you have less people who have wealth and the wealth is concentrated in one spot, just by design, our economy doesn't move as well. The money isn't moving around.
Why does Bernie Sanders
people are rich?
Why does Bernie Sanders want to make billionaires illegal, but he doesn't want to make poverty illegal?
Wait, can I say, so before I want to respond?
It used to be the millionaires and the billionaires.
Hang on. I want to finish back because shut the fuck up. When we talk about wealth inequality, like we're also talking about power inequality, right? We're talking about people who have the ability to influence government policy. So if we see these things getting worse for the people on the bottom and people are accumulating more and more wealth at the top, then they have more access to political capital, more access to power, more access to make the lives harder for people who have less leverage, right? So that's a problem. I'll see you all in 10 minutes, whatever.
Okay, thank you.
I don't even know what he was trying to say there.
Yeah, I think the problem is that there are a significant amount of people who, through compound interest, make more money than like basically any American could possibly do in a lifetime. They'll make it in a year, and I think that system isn't like paying you for your labor necessarily. I think it's a system that the more money you get, the more money you get. Right, the easier it is to obtain money.
Oh yeah,
I aspire to do that. Put your money to work so you don't have to work.
Hang on. Let me respond to this.
So your wealth accelerates at a faster pace.
Yeah, but RTP, you just said that people don't have access to capital if they're at the lower rungs of society. That's true, right? That's not false. So at least they have access to less capital.
Is that connected?
Loans. But who the fuck loans them the money? Banks loan them the money, and where do they get that money from? They get it from the uber wealthy. So if this is the case, the uber wealthy aren't going to park their money in those banks to loan to those lower classes unless they get fucking interest, dude.
I don't think the uber wealthy are parking their money in banks.
Then how are they getting?
They invest their money.
Hang on,
they invest.
Hang on. How are they getting compound interest then?
Investments.
He thinks you mean they walk into Wells Fargo.
What is putting your money in a bank?
He thinks you mean that you walk into Wells Fargo and hand the teller a check. That's what he thinks.
He doesn't know what capitalism is, Andrew. He critiques he blames capitalism, but he does not know what capitalism is, Andrew.
So banks are getting the money from who again?
Banks get their money from everybody.
Well, I mean, but they
anybody who puts their money in a
not
bank,
rich
Andrew.
people. Everybody
and then they can
rich
loan out
people
more than they have.
fund
It's
the
called
banks.
fractional reserve banking.
Yeah, and poor people have no money, and rich people have the money, and they get them from people. They get it from.
If you were a bank and you wanted to incentivize rich people to park your money there so you could loan out 10x the amount of the money which was there, like he was just saying, fractional reserve, for instance, would you give them a compound interest rate saying, hey, since we're loaning your money out, we're going to pay you interest against this money that we're loaning out? Wouldn't you do that as a banker?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. And doesn't that in turn make that money at interest available to the lower classes, which is something you don't see in socialism? Isn't that the case?
I'm not outlawing banks.
No, but what I'm asking you is that you just got done saying that the uber rich are getting compound interest, which I agree, on the money that they're parking in banks, especially, which I agree that they are. But how does that hurt the underclass? That's where the underclass gets its money. It's access to capital.
I don't think that they should stop putting their money in banks.
Yeah, but how does the underclass get access to capital unless private banks are loaning it to them?
They would still have access to that.
No, how?
Do you think because all I'm saying is that we raise
how the fuck would they get access to capital if it wasn't for rich people parking their money in banks? Tell me.
I don't think that rich people shouldn't exist. I think that
Can you answer my fucking question? How does these lower class of people actually get access to money which they need loaned to them without rich people parking their money in banks, dude? How?
I didn't say. What are you doing? You're
the Federal Reserve does part of it.
I didn't make that claim. What the fuck are you talking?
No,
Andrew,
you just didn't say.
Let me explain it to you. Let me explain it to you. I'm advocating that you raise a minimum tax over $100 million for net worth over $100 million. You have a minimum tax of 25%. I think you should take capital gains to 25%, and I think you should increase the income tax rate to 37%. Billionaires would still exist. Millionaires would still exist. They would still get compound interest. I'm not saying we eliminate them. You're asking me to say.
How are you measuring net worth?
Hang on. I think this is fair.
What happens if they're gone? I'm not saying they're gone.
So I'm not.
Tax them a little bit more.
That's fine. Let's say that we institute all of your taxation and capital gains tax. How does that give the lower class more access to capital?
It doesn't.
Then what the fuck, dude? Then your whole position's negated.
That's not my whole position.
Position's negated.
Bro, read an economics book.
Class inequality bad because the lower classes can't get access to capital. And then you're like, well, we need to do A, B, and C, but it doesn't actually give the lower classes access to capital.
This is why nobody that follows you, Andrew, can ever argue your points, is because what you do, and you did this the last time we debated too, you took my entire argument and you said GDP bad because you didn't know what the fuck I said.
That's all you were saying.
You think that I'm making, no, it's not. And if you go watch it again, you'll see that I made multiple claims and you didn't address a single fucking one of them.
No, I granted them just to show you how absurd they were.
Hey, what were the other numbers I mentioned then, Andrew?
Well, your entire argument was that
what was the other numbers? Not my entire argument. State the fucking numbers, Andrew.
That immigrants increase the gross domestic product of the United States, and also that they.
Great. There's the GDP. What other numbers, Andrew?
What other numbers?
What other ones?
What other ones?
Yeah, you said you knew them. What were they?
I don't think you really cited any other ones.
No, he said he didn't say he knew them. He said he can grant them, and he can still show how bullshit your argument is.
Only heard the GDP, and all of you have this opportunity to go back and watch.
So
that
what
debate,
were they?
And you'll see that
what were
Andrew didn't listen
what
to
were
a
they?
fucking
Well, what
word
were they?
I
What
said,
were they?
And he claimed that my entire argument was GDP.
It was.
Just like what he's doing right now.
Yeah,
and this is why nobody that ever listens to you can get on a debate stage and win. It's because nothing you say makes any fucking sense, Andrew.
Well, at least you admit you lost.
Yeah, true.
That's the first good thing you've done all night.
Got him.
But can you help me out?
Did you hear what I said, Rob?
What were the other
What I
numbers?
said, Rob?
Can you tell me what the other numbers were?
That's why no one that gets on the debate stage with you can win.
What I just said is what.
Yes or no? Is that what you just said? Yes or no? Is that what you just said? That's why no one that could get in the debate stage with you can win.
From Andrew's audience, yeah.
No. You didn't say from Andrew's audience. You admitted you lost. Fuck face.
He's backtrack. He's moonwalking to backtrack.
Go watch it again. You guys
With one glove on,
listen.
rhinestones.
Nice.
Nobody listens at all. It's crazy. You guys all have the same problem.
Yes or no?
Well,
Did you
maybe
not
it is
say
your
exactly
problem.
what I said?
I said nobody from Andrew's audience can repeat what he says or make his arguments. I've offered
That's not what
That's why no one else can win against you.
anybody. I've offered $100 for any of Andrew's audience who's in my audience every day. Chip
$100?
clipping clipping
Clip chipping?
content to send back to Andrew so that maybe he'll blow them. And I offer them every day $100 if you can come up and explain to
It's a
me
monetary
how
guy.
Andrew won that debate, and nobody ever does. They stay in the chat.
yeah.
I don't have time for that. I can't do that.
You can be bothered.
Yeah, I think that
they sit in my live for 3.5 hours. They literally comment for 3.5 hours
Spurred,
straight,
baby.
but they don't
Keep
have
doing it.
time to come up and chat. Is that what you're saying?
And RTP, how does that make you feel?
Seems like it makes him feel bad. Yeah.
Makes him want to write a
All
sign.
right,
He wants to make
I-
a sign.
I got on late. Don't know
Actually,
if
I do want to know.
Afghanistan
I
will
just want to know
drop
real quick.
yet in one moment.
Were these other
please.
numbers that you were
but-
citing?
Oh my God!
You can go watch the
Gentlemen.
debate.
Just
Andrew.
shouting him
Watch
down.
Just tell me one.
Just shouting him down. This is so stupid.
Just tell me one. What?
No, you go.
No, this is the
You don't know?
stupidest shit
You
I've
don't
ever
remember?
seen.
You don't remember the
It's
numbers you were
1,
citing?
3, 4, 5, 5. At least 5 of you. Just shout him down. I told you, if you let him talk, if you really believe he's a leftist, which he said he's not, he'll
He
walk
is.
off the ledge.
Well,
he's
he
a
did.
centrist. He's a centrist.
No, he's a leftist.
No, he's an independent.
Oh,
He's
I'm
an
definitely.
independent.
Andrew's
He's
more
been
correct.
talking,
He's
dude.
registered
Andrew's
Republican.
more correct.
He
Andrew's more
understands the economy and he knows that it's socialist mixed with
Bro,
capitalism.
he doesn't even understand capitalism. Fuck the
Well,
economy. He
your
doesn't
thing
even
is
understand
right, is
capitalism.
wanting people who are
Oh,
center to be left. That's
Well,
not the
I'm
way
like-
it works.
Yeah, when
My
you
favorite
say
part is
when you
the
say
guys come up
when you
after.
If
say
you're not
mixed,
far right, all of a
yeah.
sudden you're left.
when you say mixed economy,
That's
though,
stupid. It is
right?
mixed
So
economy.
socialism.
The Declaration of Independence,
Yeah.
Independence is a socialist document.
1776, brother.
Is a
If you're not far right, wouldn't mean you're right.
a social contract.
Okay, calm down.
This
Economic.
is the stupidest shit I've ever seen. You're just
When you-
shouting him down. You're not
Rick,
really
take a
trying
breath.
to understand anything. You're not
Yeah.
trying to talk to the man.
You know, Brick.
We are.
You know, Brick. What we should have did was hold sign-ups. You're very impressed with that. Right?
It's
You would have been real impressed
It's
then, right?
stupid. All I hear is, man,
It's
man,
stupid.
man,
It's
I don't
stupid.
like your
Why don't
position.
you guys
live in
All
the center?
right, it's
Why are you
my
hurting his
turn.
feelings?
Everyone
Stupid.
can shut the
It's
fuck up
fucking
now
trash.
before I
I'm
start
literally a
getting
constitutionalist. I
agitated
do
because
wanna-
you're still talking. I know I'm not muted. I know I'm coming through loud and clear. I got on late. Don't know if Afghanistan was brought up yet, but if not, the evac alone is why we're better off with Trump than Kamala and Biden.
How?
Kid-
But oh, sorry.
oh, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I was
You have
just
a thought
gonna.
for that one?
Well, no, I was just gonna ask
Oh,
the dude
then
how
hold
it
it.
was a socialist.
Then hold it.
The Constitution was socialist. That's all.
Kissy Cat says, mine's bigger. Yes, all of this dick measuring on the screen. Shut up, Andrew. Sarah's our boss, and you are just a guess. We pay all sim taxes to her. At least she's prettier to look at. Put Ryan in the back. We already put him in the back. Teriak, you don't look too bright. Have you seen Trump walk down a
That's
ramp?
fair. That's fair.
That's fair.
The one
still
time
does it better
he
than
had
Biden.
it didn't have any railings and it was slippery, wet.
RTP, I vote GOP, but my Reagan bad and Trump bad because taxes. And Andrew, does he really want us to believe this tripe?
Worse
Yes.
than that, he said he voted for Gary Johnson, a libertarian.
He had to ask Andrew for permission if he could have that opinion because everybody that follows Andrew Wilson is a fucking dipshit. They literally just beg for your attention all day long. They have no clue what the fuck you're saying.
sound jealous.
You've got an arm. I'm not. They're in my live every day. They're giving me
Jealous?
engagement. It's.
Oh, I
terrific.
mean a teensy weensy fraction.
Jelly. We bet jelly.
Bro,
Yeah.
this far right
There you
bullshit.
go.
You do seem kind of
It's
upsetty
really
spaghetti
stupid.
about it.
It's the dumbest shit I've ever
Peanut
seen.
butter jealous.
Get with it. It's far right bullshit.
Hey, can I ask Brick a question? You said
Go
can you
ahead.
define socialism? You said the Constitution is a socialist
It's a
document.
social document. Yes.
It's a
That's
social
not-
document.
that's not what you
Is
said.
Is it socialist?
It's socialist. Yes, it is 100%
Define socialism. Define
Like as in the ideology?
Correct.
You mean like as in like the ism?
Yes.
Define what
Yeah,
socialism
it's an
is.
ideology.
Yes. And
It's an
that means what?
ideology.
It's just an ideology. That's it. That's the definition of socialism. So it's no different than libertarianism, conservatism, etc. They're all just
Nazism.
ideologies.
Nazism is just an ideology, right?
It's national
Are
socialism.
you better at socialism if you have
It's even socialism. It's just national wise socialism. What's
It's
wrong
just
with
it's all
socialism?
ideology. Socialism, communism, fascism, libertarianism.
it
It's all
all
just
is.
ideologies. They're all the same.
It's a bullshit.
Wow, great argument, man. You're crushing it.
Goodbye,
You're a man,
Brick.
right?
Say
You're a man.
goodbye.
What you
Flawless
wanna be, a
argument there.
capitalist?
Great argument.
Are you a man or a capitalist?
Not even the greatest debaters at Harvard could make a
You wanna
better
trade
argument
with
than that.
me? You want to barter? That's cool, but we're gonna use some money to do that. That's called socialism.
That's mercantilism.
That's stocks.
That's called
It's a federal
mercantilism.
stock dollar you're using. It's a federal stock dollar.
Oh my goodness.
Get it through your
What-
thick fucking
what-
skull.
what is- what is that?
Social.
What is socialism?
I'm a constitutionalist. I know.
It has nothing got to do with anything,
Good
Andrew.
night,
This is just what
Brick.
Brick
You don't
does.
realize that.
Brick, you're going. Somebody booted.
It's fun to be in the middle of a circle jerk, just watching this happen. You guys just all beat each
How
other
do you
off
think
while
I
you see
feel
it.
To be
all
the
the
biscuit.
time?
I think it's amazing.
If you're in the middle,
Every
then
time-
you're the biscuit.
Every time we
Definitely.
talk to a lefty,
Who's gonna
they have
eat
to
me?
bring up like gay sex and shit every time. Your dick this, circle jerk that.
Mm-hmm.
RTP, no one's gonna fuck you here. You know, just so you know, I know you're single and all, but don't worry, none of us are gonna make any advances.
I would titty fuck you though, Rob.
Would you?
Oh my god.
It's very nice of you to suggest something like that, but my guess is RTP, your
Throw a
kids
little-
wouldn't
throw
be
a
very
little
happy
olive
with
oil
that,
on
would
it.
they?
Well, they have
Would you buy him dinner first?
Okay, I'm gonna bring
RTP,
it back
would you buy him dinner
around.
first?
It's my stop.
I would buy him
stop,
dinner
stop,
first. I would.
stop,
I think
stop,
that's fair.
Stop. Is a consolidated executive branch running an extortion racket with businesses and sovereign nations, socialism or capitalism? Andrew, partisan clown shoe.
Yes, neither.
Okay. RTP, a college athlete. What'd you do? Swimsuit volleyball with the other girls?
I was a soccer player.
Oh, soccer. Nice.
I like the guy who clearly hasn't run in 30 years, laughing at an athlete right now.
No,
All right,
you're
well,
an athlete. That's how you would
athlete?
consider yourself. You
Bro.
would consider yourself an athlete.
I was also
The only
an
thing you're
all-state
good at running
basketball
from is
player.
fucking answering any questions in this debate.
If you want to
nowadays.
flop dicks about being an athlete, I played hockey from when I was 6 until 18, then joined the
That's
Marine Corps
dope.
when I was
I
21
wrestled.
or 20. Or turned 20.
All right. Wow,
Just-
too much.
if you wanna-
dick
I mean, if you
going
wanna do that.
on. A bald
No,
rage.
they brought it up, not me. I don't.
Hey, Baldy, loosen your hat before you faint from all the pressure on your head. RTP is a soy boy who hides in the closet waiting to come out when it's safe. And that was another kick for.
I show up here twice a month and I take on 8 people versus 1, but I'm afraid that makes a lot of sense.
I
stop
give
the
you
cap.
full credit for it.
Thank
RTP, why does the LGBTQ guys lisp? I don't know.
What?
You didn't. By the way, you're not taking on 8 people. Some of the people here were on your side, and you lost handedly to just one both the last times you were here.
Yeah, give yourself another victory, Rob.
I
Save
mean,
for-
I don't have to give it to me. I earned it. Make a sign. Go.
Hang on, real quick. I just want to ask you a question. RTP, that's fair. Rob's giving himself too many victories. Did you win then, RTP?
I have said if I'm sure that you guys have heard because I say you don't win debates. There's really no way to win a debate.
You don't. That's true. I agree.
There's only
You would come to that conclusion.
Good one.
So
Rob.
you didn't win?
another fucking.
So you-
no,
so you
I don't
didn't
think you
win?
win. I don't think you win debates.
Does anybody actually adhere to the rule that when super chats are being read, shut the fuck up?
No.
Thank you, sirs. Watching RTP Rage Cope made my night. Thanks, RTP. I follow
it.
Andrew. He still needs to brush his hair. Loves my fake money. Grifting motherfucker. And final one, and I'll kick it back to you guys for a while. RTP Bald Faux Show. Okay.
We need to take some bets for when this hat comes out. I'll get paid handsomely. I'm happy to take it off. But if any of you did an ounce of research, you could literally just go to my page from like a month ago, and you can see. canceling your show.
RTP, before you get into the meta again and get everybody comparing dick sizes again, you know, I keep hearing about this magical ghost,
do that
a
again.
dragon that eats up cash and drops off change for us. It's called trickle down economics. How many of you are over 40 years old? You know, I've been waiting for this dragon to drop cash on me ever since I was, you know, at least able to have a job. I've been waiting. I'm 51 years old turning, and I've been waiting my entire life for this trickle down. It's never trickled down. I keep hearing people say, oh yeah, give the rich the money. They're the one who dump in the economy. The rich are not the ones who dump in the economy. The rich buy from the rich. That's all the rich buy from. Who's in the shops? Who's in the little shops buying from the little shops? That's the little man. Who's going to the grocery store, buying those grocery stores? That's the little man.
Okay, so,
It's
okay,
never
seriously,
been. This trickle down has never worked.
Fine, please let me. If you don't mind, if I could ask you a
Just
question.
tell me
about this.
what poor man you go to work for.
Let me ask you this. Did you see a large transfer of wealth in like the last 5 years? Did you see something that led to a large transfer of wealth? Just curious.
Yes.
Not you. I'm talking to the person who Zerzy.
Well, that's a very big question. What are you referring to as a large transfer of wealth?
One of the largest transfers of wealth in our nation's history happened about 5 years ago. What was it?
I'm sorry.
Oh, well, okay. The coup, I guess, is what you're referring to.
Okay, so what you're telling me is when we had the anti trickle-down economics, when we had the socialist wet dream of command economy, where we told people they were non-essential, which meant that the little guy lost. We said that people, for example, running local hardware stores had to shut down, but the big box stores could stay. Then we gave stimmy dollars to each individual, and it led to one of the largest transfers of wealth from the poor and working class in the history of this country. Why? If we gave all this money to people at the bottom,
what I said about 40 years of trickle-down economics into an exact 4-year period where a pandemic was spread across America, affecting our country. That's not really going to erase 40 years or answer for 40 years of a failure of trickle-down economics.
I can answer to this. There's a good answer. There's a good answer for this. The reason is because our economy is set up for money to trickle up. It goes up. And we were still under Trump's tax policy. We were like, Joe Biden is not a socialist. This was trickle down economics. We were still under Trump's Tax Cut and Jobs Act. The entire
Joe Biden doesn't know what he is.
The entire Biden presidency. And so when we injected wealth, we could see this is the great thing about it. When you inject wealth, you inject all that money and you follow that money, where did that money wind up? In the hands of the wealthy. That means by design, our economy flows money up. By design.
What we saw as the more
right. So that would mean ultimately we would want to tax the bigger guys and give the little guys a little bit of break, so the little guys have more money to give to the bigger guys. Now, another issue that was brought up was the tariffs.
Let me explain this. 1 sec. Let me clarify this as an Irishman, because my economy depends on you doing that. Because I would want you to do that, because what the corporations do is they go to a country like Ireland, do some sort of like a trademark policy or trademark thing on the product, and then they do all the taxes in Ireland, and you don't see any tax. So if you reduce it down to 10%, you guaranteed get that 10%.
You're arguing that trickle down is not going to work because they're going over to Ireland.
But what you do is when you raise that tax, 1 sec, to go back to your mistake, your socialist mistake, is when you raise that tax, the mom and pop shop, they can't do that. They're forced to pay that tax in Ireland, so you're screwing the very businesses you're claiming to help. This is how retarded socialism is.
And the point that I was making before other people jumped in was we saw socialist policies, right? Like sort of the affirmation of socialist policies, control of the economy, and what happened almost immediately, despite the fact we were told that these sort of command economies would benefit the independent business, benefit the lower class. It did the exact opposite. And RTP's like, that's because of Trump's tax cuts. Trump's tax cuts are why locking down the economy and sending stimmy checks to everyone led to a transfers of wealth. That's nonsensical.
It's shocking that you didn't understand this. I said we were still under Trump's tax policy. And so when you injected money in both the Trump stimulus and the Biden stimulus, they reacted in the exact same way. The money funneled up, meaning, and we are still under trickle-down economics. Through Clinton, through Obama, through Biden, none of them changed that. We're still doing this Ronald Reagan experiment. And what we know is the money funnels up. It doesn't trickle down.
There's no
wealth
evidence.
Inequality exacerbates every time we inject money into the economy. Wealth inequality goes up.
Okay, so I just want to be clear. If the tax rate was at the rate you wanted, then locking down the economy and giving stimmy checks to people would have not benefited the wealthy. It would have benefited the poor.
If it was where I wanted it, for sure.
So explain to me how your tax policy would have meant that locking down non-essential businesses, command control economy, right, and then sending stimmy checks to everyone wouldn't have resulted in that money ending up in the hands of the wealthy.
Yeah, so when you raise the top marginal tax rate, in my case, I would say over, say 20 million, we can pick an arbitrary number, but let's say income over 20 million, you're taxed at 70%. The only way to not be taxed at that rate is if you reinvest that in your workers. So if you pay your workers more money. So when you have, for example, like Amazon, if it was structured in a way that the workers of Amazon were sharing in the profits, then that wealth would have been more evenly distributed. It wouldn't have all gone to a small group of people.
They are
It would have
sharing
been
in the
distributed
profits.
RTB, can you clarify? Are you talking about business
It would-
taxes or personal income taxes? Personal earned income taxes or business
So
taxes? It sounds like you're conflating them.
Yeah. So you're right. Yeah. So the corporate tax rate, I would also would have went up to 28%. So you have both the income tax rate and then the corporate tax rate would be at 28%.
How are workers not participating in the benefits of the corporation if they're getting a paycheck? How is
I didn't say that.
No. Here's what you actually said. Your exact words were this trickles up. And if it was the case that we were able, you said that employees need to get a profit share. Am I wrong?
I said if the employees were in Amazon's case, if the employees had profit sharing,
they're getting profit sharing though.
The wealth, no, I'm talking about profit sharing, not
That
wages.
is profit sharing.
On top of their wages, if they were also getting profit sharing.
How is wages not profit sharing?
Instead of it being concentrated.
Yeah,
in the
how
hands
are
of a
wages
few,
not
if it
profit
was
sharing?
If it was more equally distributed.
How are wages not profit sharing?
Then the wealth inequality would not have been so
Yeah,
severe.
how are wages
because it
not
would have
profit
been-
sharing?
Because it would have been more evenly distributed.
Yeah, how are wages
you
not profit sharing
dumb
though?
Fuck.
How are wages not profit sharing?
I said on top of wages, you would also
Yeah,
have
but what's my
profit
question?
sharing.
What's my question?
Well, it's a straw man once again.
What's my
'Cause you don't
question?
understand
What's my
You
question?
don't understand
What's my
basic
question?
economics,
What's my
Andrew.
question?
You're an ideologue.
What's
dipshit.
my fucking
And so you're
question?
now reframing this in a way that I didn't
Oh,
say.
all the
I'm gonna
add-ons.
say it
Just
the way
not
that I
profit
stated.
Answer the
sharing.
fucking
That
question.
people would have wages and they would also have
Yeah.
profit.
How is wages not profit
of the
sharing? How are wages not profit sharing?
I said on top of that.
Yeah, how are wages
Right.
not profit sharing though?
Anybody else want to go?
Yeah, how are wages not profit sharing? No, I want you to answer my question. Are
No.
wages profit sharing?
Go fuck
Are
yourself.
wages profit sharing?
Are wages profit sharing?
Answer the fucking question.
I've already answered it. This is
No,
what
yes
they
or
do.
no? Yes or no?
Rob and Andrew are both dipshits who have to reframe questions.
How
because they
do I
can't- they
reframe
can't
my own
explain, like,
question?
basic economics.
How can I
Andrew-
reframe my
Andrew
own
doesn't know-
question?
Andrew
What do you-
legitimately doesn't know a fucking thing about policy. This is just a Christian nationalist ideologue.
You
who is
ever
now-
going to
Okay,
answer
I'm
the
glad you
question?
brought
I'm
that. I'm
making,
glad you
and
brought
now
that
he's
up.
now he's trying to back me into a corner for a claim that I didn't make because
Bro,
he's too fucking stupid to understand
Are
basic
wages
economics.
profit sharing or not?
What's an
Yes
ad
or
hom?
no? Answer question. Are wages profit sharing or not?
I've already answered your question, Andrew. Go
Yes
fuck
or no? Just yes or no, bro.
Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, he can't answer.
Creator can
Everyone
answer
else is stupid. He can't answer a basic question.
RTP Tux, let me ask you a different question. If it's true that
RTP
you want these tariffs, you don't like tariffs, right? I think that's fair from getting.
No, I'm okay with tariffs.
Okay, nonetheless, then you want to have this forced profit sharing of Amazon and charge them this high rate. Why, please, SB, please, why wouldn't Amazon just move their factories overseas where they don't have to do this then?
How are they going to access the U.S. market from overseas?
What? How would a
Boats.
multinational corporation access the U.S. market?
Boats.
Yeah, we still tax them. If you're in the U.S. market, you still get taxed.
Boats.
So now you're suggesting that the United States should tax foreign companies the same sort of taxation you're talking about taxing the domestic ones if they don't profit share?
We already do that. If a foreign company wants to operate in the United States, they have to set up operations in the United States and they have to pay taxes, and so do their employees.
That's not true. If Amazon, so wait. So I just want to be clear.
Wait,
Your
wait,
argument
give
is
me an
let
example of a
me
company
finish.
that doesn't pay
I'm going to
taxes.
clarify, and then you can answer. So what you're saying
Okay.
is that there's some company that doesn't exist at all in the United States, and they want to sell products to the United States. All right, what's the taxes that they're paying?
It depends on how they sell those products. Like if they do it through a distributor, then the distributor will pay those taxes. But if they want to set up and operate their own business, like even if it's a business from overseas, if they want to operate inside the United States, they have to pay taxes the same way. It's the same corporate tax structure.
but we're talking about their production of making all this shit, the things Amazon does.
Well, Amazon doesn't make anything.
Clearly, it would be much cheaper for
Yes, they
them
make
to
things.
play employees overseas where they don't have to do this profit sharing and shit like that.
How would
you're
they
talking
pay?
about.
How would they pay like delivery drivers overseas?
I mean, The delivery drivers themselves would be one thing, but the mass manufacturing and shipping and shit like that could be done overseas. Do you deny that there are manufacturing centers in Amazon? They're like large places that they employ a lot of people?
So I would love if Amazon went overseas, because what that would do is that
I got to get out of here, guys. Have a good night.
Would create this vacuum, and you would have all these people who would fill the void from Amazon. People who actually run the company.
See, Andrew.
And they might share in profits. I wish Amazon would go overseas. I wish these corporations that keep threatening to go overseas, I wish they fucking would, because that would make life better for all of us, because it would create actual competition, and we could get rid of some of these giant monopolies. I wish that when these giant monopolies threatened to go overseas, if we cut their taxes, I wish we raised their taxes and they all fucking left.
Okay, so then just to be
China Global,
please. So just to be clear, then here's what would happen. Now you get out all the people you're talking about that you don't like, that you're going to tax all this money. Now they leave. So where are we getting our taxes to pay for all these social programs now?
What social programs?
Like presumably you're not going to massively cut social programs as well, are you?
What
the social programs that I advocate for are paid for through
specific
taxes. So, for example, one of the things that I'm a big fan of is Medicare for all, and you can go look and you can see how that's paid for. It's not just by the taxpayers.
Okay, so you're going to increase taxes on the average taxpayer as well.
Well, yeah. So it would increase taxes on the average taxpayer, but the average American is paying about $15,000 for healthcare now, and estimates show that they pay about $9,000. Why the fuck does it matter if it goes to a healthcare company or the government?
Without Amazon, it would raise all cost of living, right? All your cost
of living goes up because
the Amazon raise my cost of living
because you'd be buying from more expensive mom and pop shops, for instance.
Who says?
I think
why wouldn't people just
commission and stock is directly profit sharing, but besides that, not.
Hold on.
Amazon largely isn't buying product. Amazon largely is like a drop shipper, right? So most of these people are already buying their own products and selling it on Amazon. So why would Amazon go overseas mean that I bought from mom and shop pops or stores that were more expensive?
Who do you do you say that? Man, shut the fuck up and let me answer the question. Do you believe that Amazon is not putting out smaller suppliers?
What?
Do you think Amazon is not taking market share from smaller distributors of goods?
Of course they are.
Of course they are. Right. And they're doing that because they're more cost effective for us, the end buyer. We get it faster, we get it cheaper, right?
Sometimes. Sometimes.
Yeah, apparently you've never shopped at Walmart because that's the reason why Walmart.
That's the thing. If Amazon left and everybody, because you're not going to take all the workers with you. All these people already know how to run Amazon. You could run that as a co-op or a collective, and you could run Amazon just as efficiently, if not more efficiently, than it is now.
You're missing the point.
And you would have a more even distribution of wealth. We're operating.
Amazon and Walmart have economies of scale that a co-op cannot achieve.
Well, why is that important to have equality of wealth?
Because oh, sorry, never mind. That was for him.
What's that?
Why is it important to have equality of wealth?
Well, you're never going to have equality of wealth,
artificially.
But you have to have a system that where the money more equally distributes. If you're going to set up an economy from scratch, you would never set up an economy where all of the money and all the resources funnel up. You would never, by design, you wouldn't do that.
But your entire premise is maybe based on an ideal that is maybe unrealistic.
What's unrealistic about my idea? We did it for 50 years in this country. We built the greatest world middle class.
America.
When we had the strongest world middle class, the top marginal tax rate was like 70%.
And how did that middle class get depleted?
Wasn't that to pay for the war?
Reagan came in and he fucked it all up.
There was a whole lot of.
I'm glad you're talking about Reagan because this is the reason I said that. First of all, I am not an Andrew fanboy. You think about that? I'm not. I'm not a Christian nationalist. If anybody knows me, anybody knows that I'm far from being a Christian nationalist. In fact, I'm very openly against it. So here's the thing. You say you're a Republican. The reason why I made that comment, and I said to Andrew, isn't this kind of ridiculous, is because you want us to believe that you are these things, and yet you advocate a position that which most Republicans would be in favor for. So, which I don't care either way because I'm not either Republican or Democrat. But
are you talking to me?
Want us to, yeah, I'm talking to you, RT, because you said you're a Republican. No. Every Republican candidate you seem to be slamming on.
No. I think you misunderstood. I'm not a Republican. I'm a registered Republican because I live in such a heavily Republican area that the only way for my vote to count is in the primaries. So I'm a registered Republican to vote against Andy Biggs. I am not a Republican. I don't
He doesn't know what he is.
Like
So then why?
I'm just registered.
Maybe you don't need Jesus.
Why don't you just?
He said he doesn't know what it is. We asked him. He said he didn't know.
Well, just because he didn't
Unless
reduce it down to a
RTP,
single word.
do you want to clarify now? You said before you didn't know what your political ideology was. Do you want to lay that out now?
I legitimately don't have a
exactly, Ryan. So
okay, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with
nothing?
I'm okay with representing
Nothing
myself
is
as a
wrong with
progressive,
that.
but what's wrong
You
with
said
not
that
doing
wasn't the case. I was listening before and knew that was the case.
Okay, I don't think you know what you were arguing with, but
Listen,
I wanted to say one thing real
quick. It's going to be a
no, you can't, Emmett. I was going to say, just to answer the question that Andrew asked like 50 times, even though he ran away after asking it a bunch. Like, wages are not profit sharing. Like, definitionally, like wages are a cost of doing business. We went over that. So, well, you didn't really. Andrew yelled about it for a while and then he left. But yeah, obviously wages are not profit sharing. But go ahead, Emmett. I'm sorry for interrupting. You're useless.
You're not addressing.
Quiet.
What?
It's a very simple question. What do you think happens to
Dracula
GDP when you have inflation?
Sorry, he spoke. What happens to what when you have inflation?
GDP. When you have inflation.
I don't know. I don't. I'd have to. I don't know what the.
For example, if you go to places like Argentina that had like a 200% inflation rate, do you know why I say that the GDP was measured in dollars instead of Argentinian pesos?
Can you say that one more time? I'm sorry. I'm bad with accents. I'm so sorry. Can you say it again?
For example, if you have
Emmett doesn't have an accent.
Let's say that you live in a country like Argentina. Argentina had a 200% inflation rate annually, and they measure GDP in dollars instead of Argentinian pesos. Do you know why?
I assume because it's a more accurate view, because the Argentinian peso is with 200% inflation, that number would be significantly higher for GDP.
Okay, so if you are talking about GDP and you say GDP good because it go up and you have an inflation, is it
I've
actually good?
I've never made that.
No, I'm asking you. This is a question.
Oh,
is it actually good that GDP went up if you're having inflation?
I would say that the fact that GDP went up, if inflation went up, I would say that I'm more concerned about inflation, and I would not celebrate the GDP going up because of inflation.
Yes. Okay. So GDP would not be a correct metric to measure how good the economy is when you are having inflation, right?
No, and this is why I said with Andrew, like Andrew fixated on GDP when we first had our debate, but like I mentioned a bunch of numbers. The only thing I said about GDP is I cited figures of what they said would happen to the GDP if we were able to deport everybody here illegally. So it was one of like 15 points of what the effect on GDP would be, but more broadly, we were looking at the effect on local economies and removing that buying power and spending power from local economies and what that would do to local economies. The GDP was literally, of all the numbers I cited in that debate, the GDP was the one that I cared about the least, and it was the one I was least reliant on, but Andrew doesn't listen. And he's just like Rob. They sit there, they don't pay attention to what you say, and that's why their answer never really tends to match up with what you said. They're terrible active listeners.
Again, I could say that actually it's you that's a terrible active listener. You misrepresented the data that you were presenting at the beginning of this debate over and over again. You constantly
do
that.
A bad active listener to misrepresent
because
my own data.
Okay. I guess let me rephrase. It's not that you're a bad active listener. It's that you're bad faith. And so what you do is instead of saying, "Oh, that's not the data I was looking," you tell me, is it that you're bad faith or that you're a bad active listener? When I said real wage growth and you kept citing wage growth numbers, was it because you weren't listening to me, or was it because you're bad faith and you were misrepresenting it?
When you go back and watch this, you'll realize that you were wrong and you're just a bad listener.
I'm not wrong.
You keep thinking that what I said is like what you think I said is what I said. It's not.
What did you say again?
I can go back to my opening statement. It was.
Did you say wage growth or real wage growth when you said 2.2 to 2.7%?
Real average monthly gain.
Okay, so that's not real wage growth.
Real average monthly gain. We're talking about
I would
real
like to once
wages.
more. I would like to see that data. That the average monthly real wage growth under Biden was 2.7%.
Then go look it up, bud.
Show it. You're lying. You're lying. You are absolutely lying. The data does not show that.
I'm not
You're a
going
liar.
down that route again. Just for the record, chat, you have exactly 14 minutes to finish that dono goal, or else I say fuck off and go to bed. Triple B says, Sarah, so much fun tonight. Thank you. Wilson, so you think you can run a 12-minute mile? Kissy Cat sending 10 just to say I love you. Thank you. Trickle-down economics was made up liberal leftist smear of basic economics. This is a LARP for business owners having capital to hire labor. Zeus sounds too much like Bullwinkle, so please put him in the back. This was earlier. And bring up Mosman. Emmett, hey buddy, love the song about you. Big celebrity on panel right there. Second to Andrew. Sarah, look good. Thank you. Pegging's bad. Don't talk about that. Bye, Ryan. RTP, I guarantee you were that one kid who never played well with the other kids in the sandbox. When you lose, just take the L for fuck's sake. Insufferable. Man, they're always so brutal to you. RTP keeps doing it. It's not a heavily Republican area. In 2020, it voted majority for Biden. We live in a swing state. We have a Democratic governor, etc.
My district voted 70% for Andy Biggs. I don't know who this person is. I'm talking about Andy Biggs' district. He's talking about Maricopa County. I'm talking about my district and the reason I register as a Republican. This is dipshit. He keeps giving you money to say the dumbest shit.
That's fair. Okay, so RTP just confirmed what we already knew, that he's a liar. He poses as a Republican, but isn't one. He just registered as one. That sounds like a deceiver, typical leftist bullshit.
No,
and I kick
oh
Rick
my
in the
God.
back.
Sir, do you think I pose as a Republican?
Wait, I'll
You
stand
invite
up
me
for
on
you
here.
there. I'll have your back
Thank
there.
you.
I'll
I
have your
agree.
back there. I've been at everything you've said, but there's a lot of states. I don't think it's every state, but some states where you have to be registered in that party to be part of the primary. And so what RTP is saying is that he's registered Republican so that he can influence the Republican primaries despite not being a Republican.
Sarcastic.
He's not pretending to be a Republican.
If this is your best complaint, then you
Try to be good faith. Try to be good faith.
Yeah.
I'm gonna jump down. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm gonna jump down. Thank you so much for having me on.
Emmett.
I'll go on, everyone.
Thanks, Emmett. RTP, I would still really like you to show that data, because all the data I looked at said real wage growth at best in Biden's best year was 1.4%. So where are you getting that the average was 2.2 to 2.7?
I told you can go to CFR-B and you can look that up yourself.
What is the exact quote? What is the exact quote that it says? I'm going to look it up and I'm going to bring it on screen. And when you're a liar, will you admit that I'm a fucking liar that gaslit everyone from the very first data that I put out at the beginning of this? Will you admit that?
What's your question?
What is the exact quote that it says? So I could go to this document, this website. You're going to get.
I don't have an exact.
What do you mean?
Quote.
You're looking at it right now. You're looking at the
No, I
webpage.
looked
Instead
at
of just
it.
linking it,
No, I'm not.
instead of just linking it,
Rob,
you're saying
maybe
look it up yourself.
He's not doing the math,
instead of-
remember?
Rob,
He's not
instead
doing
of
the math.
guessing what I'm looking at, maybe a better way to have
Link
a conversation with a human being would to say, "What are you looking at?" Instead of
That's
guessing.
what we
'Cause
asked
I'll
you.
tell
Link
you.
it. Link
Yeah,
it.
so I'm
Link it.
looking at my outline, which I pulled from that study. So I can find the study. I'm more than happy to send it to you. But it's
Link it now. Link it now. Let's look at it while there's an audience watching. Link it.
Rob, I don't have it. I'd be happy to pull it up and send it to you.
So how many other sources did you claim that you were looking at that you haven't had throughout this debate?
852.
And I mean, I get it. Maybe if I put it in the form of a sign, you would take the question more seriously. But I think that you're full of shit and you know it. You know that you're full of shit here.
Yeah, that's what it is, Rob.
You absolutely.
You know, if he's unable to pull up the data, wouldn't it just make sense to move this conversation forward to actually accept that? And then if he doesn't provide you the data, then go over and bust his balls on your channel about, hey, look, this guy promised me data and didn't give me it. We should probably just kind of move this
Thank
forward.
you, Sarah. Thank you for your suggestion. Thank you, Sarah, for your suggestion. Wouldn't it be more productive for you to fuck right off? I don't care what your opinion is.
Is it a fair assessment?
Well, you're not moving the conversation forward.
I don't give a shit if you think that I'm moving or not.
For an hour
I don't give a shit if you think I'm moving it forward or not.
Now, as far as the title, Kamala
I don't
Harris,
give a shit what you think. I don't give a shit whatsoever. Your opinion to me means nothing. The fact that we're talking about this data that was the start of the data he said, and he's incapable of proving it, and has gone back 4 or 5 times on what he's claiming it says.
Rob,
It's my
is it
turn
correct-
now because nobody can figure out how I say it's my turn and they still talk. Kissy Cat saved all of you men in the chat. I'm absolutely
You have your
concerned that
murderer face on. That's your murder.
yeah.
Where's the cat?
It's been a night. Kissy Cat coming in with 10, 20, 30, and 40 to finish off the goal, along with real Robert Flowers. Robert Flowers is here. And Witzius. I don't know why it does the at things anymore. Cool says only a person that has never won a debate would say you don't win or lose debates. I guess it's about the friends you made along the way. Grump singing the Emmett song. Is there an Emmett song?
Yes,
Emmett.
there is an Emmett song.
Oh my.
It's epic.
Okay. Sarah, please stack the last SC with
I'll
this
I'll
one
DM it to you for
add-
offline.
I'm good. I won't watch it. This one
Okay.
add on to
I won't
Ryan's
then. No
time
biggie.
out, who turns Robert Flowers to Bobby Knuckles. Fair enough. I mean, it's a line at this point back there, so they typically have to wait that long anyways. Triple B, right, Kissy Cat. There you go. All right.
Is
back
it
to you.
safe for me to break or to sum this whole debate up into would it be better to have a flat corporate tax rate? SP, you're so annoying. A flat corporate tax rate versus tariff. Isn't that really the gist of the whole argument?
No. I think that there's plenty of other things about why I would prefer Trump to Biden. And it's not clear that that's exactly what Kamala Harris was advocating. Was she advocating for a flat tax? I don't necessarily think. I think she was advocating for more of a progressive scaled tax. I don't think there was anything about a flat tax
I'm
about
sorry,
it.
you're right. I misspoke. Not a flat corporate, but a corporate tax rate across the board. All corporate
Well, and again, even there, her at first term with Biden there, they had tariffs and things of that nature. So no, it wouldn't be fair to say that it was literally tariffs or corporate tax that's progressive. Under Trump, we also have corporate taxes that are on a progressive scale. So no, the importance of this question, and like, I'm not trying to be a dick about it. Like, the importance of this data question is because this is where the entire debate stems from. RTP keeps saying, you guys can't hear, you never listen, you are blah, 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 blah. He can't provide the very first
what
person.
I said.
He
That's
can't
how bad
even
you are at
provide.
listening.
He can't provide a piece of data. What is the name of the organization, RTP? I'm going to look it up myself.
It is CFRB or CRFB.
Okay, I'm looking and it claims that the CFRB does not do things like keep data on real wage growth. That's what I'm reading as I look it up.
So they cite data. They're not the collect. They don't collect the data. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that it says that it just they don't do things like creating data.
Listen, Rob. I'll send it to you. I'll look for it. I'll try. I'll find.
You're not
it.
going to. You're not.
Okay.
You're not going to. I'll tell you right now what you're going to do.
Yeah,
You're going to say when no one's
Rob,
watching.
What he does. In order for Rob to Rob's gonna now tell me what I'm doing. You are such a little bitch. It is crazy. You can't take any answer from anybody.
Bro,
Okay, then we'll see. We'll see.
If you write a paper in college, if you write a paper in college and you quote a source, and you don't quote that source, it won't get accepted.
It's easy to prove wrong.
Rob didn't
It's
cite a
easy.
single source from today.
That's
not
not
one
true.
time
I
did he
started off
cite a
citing
single
sources.
source. In fact, the first source that he cited, he had to walk back. He's like, I don't even know where this is
but we're
from.
talking about your source.
I saw
Your
every
claim.
source.
We're talking
It's
about your
fine.
claim.
It's fine. I will get it. The only reason I don't have this source is because I didn't link it in my outline, and now I'm going to have to go back through my research and find it. And when I find it, I'll be happy to send it.
Here's
to Rob.
what's going to
But
happen.
what I
So,
didn't do is
yeah,
put a
but
hyperlink
it's
in
gonna
my
be
outline.
offline, which is the point.
Would you call that a
Never
source
gonna
inequality?
So
Never
it's
gonna
not going to
happen.
happen. That data
Did you
does
say
not
source
exist. And what
inequality?
you're going to do when no one's
Source
watching
inequality.
is you'll send
That's
something
fair.
small and be like, "Oh yeah, okay, a little
See?
mistake." When you are wrong, you're
Why
even
don't you
wrong here.
stop
You're saying that I
predicting?
didn't.
Why don't you
You
just
can't
stop
even help yourself with
predicting
We'll
it.
find it.
You can't even stop interrupting here now, right? Like that's what's going to
Because you're
happen when
just
no one's
predicting
watching.
what
Is see,
you do.
yeah, you're right. I am
Who cares
predicting
about
because
this?
you know that you're wrong on the data. Everyone here knows. Everybody knows. Like I get
Everybody
it.
knows.
Hold up a sign.
We're gonna do.
Come on, you can do it. Hold up a sign. Go ahead. That's what you're best at, right? Holding up a sign.
On those signs, by the
Oh,
way.
you
That
did
was-
nail
that
it,
was
man. You
good.
did great.
I've gotten
You know
so
that
many
you're wrong.
compliments
You
on
know
those
that you're
signs.
wrong on the data. Every one of us know, and what you're going to do is say, "Oh, here it is. Read it yourself," and you're never going to address it because this is what someone like you does. You lie intentionally. You know that this doesn't say real wage growth was up on average at 2.4 to 2.7%. You know it. I showed the data. You know it. Everyone. Is there anyone here? Brick. Anyone on the left? Sarah say, Your argument is you think that real wage growth was up on average of 2.2 to 2.7% under Joe Biden? That's the argument that the people defending you are going to make. Is there anyone in the world that believes that other than RTP right now? He can't admit, I probably misread it.
I'm not even fucking left. What the fuck are you talking
socialist.
about?
What the fuck are you
I'm not
talking about?
socialist, bro. I'm center right. I know my fucking political ideology, bro. I'm
You
center
said
right.
that the Constitution is a socialist document.
No
You're
shit.
a
It's a social document.
constitutionalist.
Shut the fuck up.
Man, you tried to say that you were defending RTP and you're incapable of fucking even having any common sense. Is there anyone here? Is there anyone here that remotely thinks that that's what that data is going to suggest? Anyone? Is there anyone? Is RTP the only one?
Hey, Rob Noah's got to be right. He's always fucking right.
I am right.
He's a winner.
It's not that I have to be right. It's that I am.
That's what happens when you say true things.
Calm down, Ric Flair.
Tariffs.
Thank you for the compliment.
Another fairy tale, I would say that these tariffs are going to bring businesses.
We're changing the subject. Great. Not interested. Seriously, you're not moving the conversation forward on the topics that we're talking about.
We're
You're
not
moving
really
the
changing the
conversation forward.
subject.
So
The tariffs were definitely brought up just a moment ago. When we're talking about the tariffs, the claim was
I'm not
made
interested in what you're saying.
You're
We
always
object and try to
doing
move the
this, Rob.
conversation in a different direction. I don't really.
All I had to do was sign up for tier 2. Cause you're my Patreon girl, and your love for me depends on how much money that I pledge to you monthly.
Awesome. That was a sick
All
video.
right. Let's
Sorry,
stop
Sara.
being stupid. Let's just stop being stupid. Brick, you got it in the back too. Ryan still has his 20 back there.
But the tariffs were brought up. and
Seriously,
it
I'm
was
not
mentioned-
interested in what you have to say trying to move the conversation. You can get invited on as a guest and take the conversation in the way you want. I'm not interested
go, Rob, let
in
it
having
all
you
out.
move
Well,
the
okay, the
conversation
title
in the
is
direction that
Kamala
you want it
Harris.
to.
I got to
I
ask you
don't
a
give a
question
shit where
about
you want to
Kamala
move on.
Harris.
I don't
then.
give a
I
shit
would
where you're
love
trying
to
to move
talk
on to the
about Kamala
conversation.
Harris.
You're just trying to
Completely
overtalk
irrelevant
me
to
because
what
you
you
don't
want to
know
do.
what
It has
to say.
nothing to do with moving on you over talking you. It has to do with your confidence that you get to decide the direction that these things go. We're talking about a specific point here. If RTP wants to address the fact that everyone understands that he was full of shit with the very first data point that he said, then we could move on from that.
Then after
He's
that, we
changed
talk
what
about
he said
Well,
over
your
and over.
data
And
point,
you,
wait, your
Xerxes, trying to
data
come in.
point, I
You're,
clearly
Xerxes, I'm not
remember was a
interested in you
copy
trying
and
to-
paste
you,
from TikTok.
Xerxes, your
That
talking
was your
point of
data
trying to
point.
move on to something.
Tomato, fierce and red, juicy curves, This message is sponsored in part by.
I've been waiting for 2 hours
Hey,
to get on this chat.
Keep
Can I?
acting gay, and I will treat you
you.
to the delicious fireman. Why are you fucking talking over me? Okay. Who am I booting? Someone please bring Flo back.
No harm, no
Apologize.
foul, sarcastic saint.
Who am I booting?
Literally
Uh,
every.
Yeah, I am so done with all of you. Saint, tell me who you want me to boot, and I'll get him. All right. Go ahead, Colby. Yeah, sure. You've been waiting forever backstage. Whatever. Go ahead.
Thank you. We've covered so many topics throughout this whole debate itself. I don't even know what topic we're on exactly at this point. Rob brought up to fall back to RTP's first point. I don't remember what the first point was. The question I want to ask is RTP asked a specific in his closing statement of the debate. RTP brought up that with the tariff system, you said China would pick up the contracts of USAID. What did you mean by that? Because hold on. Because, let me just finish the question. Because USAID is what came out was that it was a money laundering scheme for the CIA and other dark projects to basically instill coup operations across the world, where we would use that money to overthrow other governments. Do you think China, the Communist Party, is going to come in and backtrack those contracts to then overthrow countries? And if that's the case, do you think they're going to instill communism into these other countries?
All right. Well, two things we have to be clear on. We did not find out that USAID was just money laundering. There were people who laundered money through USAID, but to say that blanketly it was a money laundering system is absolutely silly. Secondly, what China is doing is they're coming in and they're providing aid, specifically in these places where we did cut off aid. Obviously, if it's money laundering and these countries weren't getting aid, then there's nothing for China to come in and let me finish, please. Thank you, because it was a two-part question. Obviously, China is not going to be able to come in and replace money that country wasn't getting, nor would they even try to do that. But secondly, I would like to point out that there is nothing communist about China except for that they call themselves communists. They are a mixed economy, just like we are. There's not a significant. Yeah, they're not. The one thing they for sure aren't.
So in other words, they're
communist.
socialists.
They're also not socialists. They have a mix of capitalism
every mixed
and
economy
socialism.
has to be a socialist if you're
Government
going
has
to involve any kind
ultimate
of state
control over the
into it.
market.
Okay,
So,
so we're socialists too. John?
Yeah, we do actually have socialism in our
fair.
country. Yeah.
And so the way the China economy is broken down, in most of the Chinese country, it is a strictly communist party. In
No,
certain of
that's
their larger,
incorrect.
hold on, let me finish. In certain of their larger cities like Shanghai and Beijing, they offer a communist portal for other countries to enter. The problem is once the other countries
What's a communist portal?
let me explain. When other countries' money comes in, it's very hard to get out. So once the United States companies invest into the Chinese economy, it's not like you can just pull your money back out. It's not.
But this would be China investing in other countries, not the other way around.
All sorts of customs has moved over to India, like immediately in response to the tariffs. Like what you're saying is not accurate.
Also Argentina, yeah, and Vietnam.
Yeah, other countries. But my point is that economic activity certainly does move out of China. As well.
Like if we look at what China has done,
But that
China
didn't
has
just happen in the last 6 months, though. That happened years ago. That's been
Look
a
at
slow
China.
process. That's not
China in 2016, 20% of what China exported came to the United States. It's like before the tariffs, it was like 12%. It's probably lower now. China's been weaning themselves off of us while we rely more heavily on them. And now China's going to these other economies, which Trump is pissed off, and they're picking up all these deals. So if I'm a country, let's just say like I'm unbiased. And I'm looking at like, can I make a trade deal with the United States or China? And let's say it's sixes. Whatever the product is, let's say it's sixes. I can get the same price from either country. I'm going to go with China because they're stable. There is no stability in what Trump is doing. Yesterday, he's like, I might keep the tariffs on with China. I might add tariffs. I don't know. And then he backs down. We're not a reliable trade partner anymore. And if you look at countries trading, like we are losing our standing as a reliable trade partner all around the world, and China is looking better.
That's right, because Obama has to bow to them and go like this, right?
Yeah, well, listen.
Hey, I'm gonna head out.
Don't forget about
everyone.
Gavin Newsom.
I got to take the kid to.
Have a good night, Rob.
Yeah.
We'll
We'll see you guys.
Rob, I'd love to talk to you sometime.
Yeah,
reach out to me. Be happy to. See you guys.
So I can avoid that.
Would be the first to say the Trump tariffs have been very wishy-washy. He keeps flip-flopping. They're not set in stone, which makes it really hard to negotiate off of. So it's not like what he said 3 months ago is standing today. He's done breaks. He's reinstituted them. He's changed the percentages. It's all wishy-washy. But your argument saying that like the tariff policy is useless, and then also in the same breath you can.
I don't think I made that argument. I'm not anti-tariffs. I think targeted tariffs are useful.
You do realize that I'm not for tariffs, but you do realize part of the reason why Trump talked about tariffs is because our economy before Trump ever got in was becoming less and less stabilized. And when you are in a situation where you allow a country to import everything to you and you export nothing to them or very little to nothing, they're going to have an advantage. It's going to destroy our economy. Now that's not just on the politicians, that's also on us culturally. Right?
Yeah, no, sure.
Well, we don't just export. It's not just about exporting physical goods, right? Like we export, first of all, a lot of culture, but also like a lot of like non-man, like we don't have. It's not just about physical goods, right? Like
Only
we export
Africa.
a lot from America.
We export.
But then like a big problem.
I'm going to send you $10 to drop SB.
Is
thank you. That's so annoying.
a big problem with like exporting to China, like what you were talking about, Ryan, is like we don't just export like products, we export ideas. Is China steals all of our patents because they don't have the same patent law, and we can't come in and like sue China. So that's a big problem with when it comes to like tech industries. Is we manufacture the products in China, and then 2 weeks later there's a knockoff Chinese product that is virtually the same, because they don't have the same patent laws. So
how is that a tariff? How is that a national issue and not like Apple's issue, for instance? If
Yeah.
Apple
Well,
is not secure with its trade secrets,
no, but it's not just Apple. It's like smaller companies too.
I know.
understand.
I'm just using an example. That's
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
what I'm saying is that is not a national policy issue. That's an individual company's asset management.
That's fair. That's fair. I would agree with that. Yeah. I mean,
Also, the USAID. I wanted to press you on like the whole idea that USAID was like a money laundering thing. Like, where do you get this information? Where did you learn that from?
It's you know where they learned it from. Don't even do that. Why are you doing that?
I just wanted. I want to get the answer.
I'll answer.
No, he doesn't. He wants to debate the answer.
Why was 27?
I want to know what he wants. I'm asking him. You guys can.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Why was $27,000
Shut the
spent
fuck.
on a
Is your name
transgender
Colby
musical in
Teriyaki?
Ireland?
Shut up. Shut up.
Yeah,
I'm
let's
not
talk about
asking you,
USAID.
Colby.
I'll answer the
Yeah, why was
question.
$27,000 spent of taxpayers' money?
Since you all
No one's
suck,
talking to you.
RTP, bring up the data now. Everyone's asking for it. Bring it up. I'm sure we have time if you use the search function in your 800 plus sources.
What's the data that's in question?
This was with Rob. Rob was saying
What?
it was a few minutes ago.
Yeah, I'm literally looking through it right now. Basically, it was a study where they factored out COVID inflation to adjust for real wages, and that's where I came up with that number. It's it's like
God,
it's
sarcastic Saint, you are such a crybaby bitch. Fuck yourself.
Maybe he just doesn't want to hear your
It's
I do-
has to try to.
I do think that a lot of
I was
people.
gonna
I do
answer his
think that.
Yeah.
I do think though that Rob is focusing on this number because it's a number he feels is wrong. It's not central to my claim. It's not even remotely central because it is a hypothetical number. You have to factor out inflation. You have to guess how much of that inflation was due to COVID. You have to determine when to factor out. It's not a super solid number, and it's not central to any of my claims. It was just a study that once they factored out the COVID inflation, like real wage growth was pretty similar.
All right.
Like
How long have you
0.04
done-
away from each other.
I do have a second question to press to RTP.
Sure.
The original debate was about if Trump is better than Kamala. This is a hypothetical, so there's no like constructive answer. But my question to you, RTP, do you think they would have ran Kamala if
Let's
Trump
fucking go.
won the
Go ahead,
primary?
sorry.
Do you
If
think
Trump
or
if there was a real primary by Democrats?
Oh well, there's never a real primary by Democrats. That's fair.
That's fair.
That's a false
That's fair.
equivalency.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I'm saying if Trump wasn't the Republican nominee, and the first option was he was assassinated in Pennsylvania. The second option would be he was somehow beat by some sort of secondary Republican. Do you think Biden would have stepped down? In my opinion,
Like earlier?
Yeah, I'm talking about pre-election. I'm talking about the only reason they ran Kamala was because Trump won. I think if won the primary. If
I agree
Trump-
wholeheartedly.
Wait, real
Biden
quick.
stayed
So,
in because
real
he
quick,
thought he
I
could
just
beat
want to
Trump.
clarify the question. Are you asking about Biden dropping out of the presidential race or stepping down as president?
I'm saying if Trump had never gotten the primary, I don't think Biden would have stepped down.
Again, step down from being the president or step down from the race?
Both. I think
If you didn't step down, the DNC.
No,
I think the
I'm-
opposite.
That's
Do
my
you
point.
have a shirt with a picture of your face on it?
I think if
Just to be
Biden
clear, I think the opposite would have happened. I think Biden would have stepped down. Biden, when he ran, I
agree.
think people forget this. He said he was going to be a one-term president, and he was just a placeholder. But I think as it got closer and it became very clear that Trump was going to be the nominee, I think Biden and establishment Democrats said he beat him once, he'll beat him again, and that's why he hung on. And that's why you had the cover-up of his health. That's why you started giving him an early bedtime. Because they thought voters would just show up and vote for Biden, and then
So it was
after that
okay to
debate-
lie the one time as long as you lie again to cover it up.
No, dude, I fucking hate it. I think it was all terrible.
Here's the
I don't
dilemma.
defend that.
14.
I
Here's
don't
the
think
dilemma.
And there couldn't be
Kamala
any
would've-
of the
Kamala would've
fraud he was
won.
involved in either.
I don't
yeah.
I
think
just
Kamala
want
would have won.
I just
a
want to
primary either.
interrupt for just a brief moment that Almighty Nate spent a whole $100. Why I don't know. Almighty Nate.
Thank you so much, Almighty Nate.
Shout out Almighty
We
Nate.
could have dropped a lot of other people at the same time.
But I also want to say that Ryan is protected for the next 100 minutes, and it is only 2:30. So if you want
about
to
the dog?
boot
Is the dog
Ryan,
protected?
if you want
Yes.
to boot Ryan, you actually have to spend $100 to do so. Okay.
Ryan is.
Is it going to be
Ryan's-
prorated as time goes on?
All right, so
Not with $100 because it's $100 to boot someone, right? And it's a full boot for the night, and it takes $100 to bring them back up. But so we'll work the same way with the protection route there. It's a
Yeah,
full
just so
100
everybody's
to
clear
boot.
on it. Just clarifying.
It's
All good.
easy, yeah.
Poor Ryan.
If I could, real quick, I just wanted to ask one last question, and then I'm going to drop off because this is really the question I wanted to address to RTP.
Love seeing you, Mosman.
What's that? Oh, hold on.
Love seeing you, Mosman, you sexy bitch.
Yeah, I moved now, but yeah. So, my question, because you said you were neither capitalist or communist, which I'm that way too. However, I would argue that whenever you involve the state in either, you don't really get either. So, so how would you, besides mixing the economies, how could you a purity check that, right? Because I hope we would all agree that China and the USSR really aren't pure communist states. They're not true, they're a mix, a hybrid and whatnot. But how do you think that works if you really do believe there's a third way, or if you just believe the Democrat Party is the way?
I'm not sure what your question is. So can you?
I'm trying to
reframe
figure
that?
out if you say you think we should have both socialism and capitalism, or there's a good economy would be a mix of those things. And I would argue that you can't have anything. You can't have a true pure socialism or a true pure capitalism with any governmental system. So, how do you suggest doing that? Do you believe that you would have a purity with a government system, especially given all the bad examples that we have of government systems corrupting those economic forms or those economic systems? And then the next part would be, if that's the case, what would be your prescription for that?
No, I don't think that anybody has ever shown on any scale that you can have total like free market capitalism or socialism. It fails every time. I think that like where I like capitalism is on a local level when it's an actual free market, when there's actual competition. I don't like it when it's expanded on a federal level, and I think that that's where you have to have the government come in and add as a check to keep things more free. But no, I don't think, especially at scale here in 330 million, I don't think there's any way.
And you said you were, I think you said you were atheistic on last panel. I'm just curious if you've ever heard of distributism, or it's a part of Catholic social. It's part of Catholic social doctrine. Like,
I've not heard of distributism. No,
I think
don't know
you
what that
might
is.
be interested in checking that out. It's not redistribution, but
This could be an email. Why don't you believe that capitalism can scale?
I said I don't think I've ever seen it scale.
I mean, but what fundamentally would break down at scale?
I think fundamental, like places we've seen where it breaks down at scale is that in order to expand, you have to have access to capital. And generally speaking, these smaller companies don't have that same access. And then it seems to be kind of like the same people keep getting that access to capital. I could be sold on it if you wanted to sell me a way that you could scale it, but I've just never seen it happen.
No, I kind of have to
real quick though, just to explain, how do you explain the success of Argentina? They basically went anarcho-capitalism. He was like the state. I wipe my ass with the state.
Yeah, I don't know about Argentina.
Before you go, Flo, Valhalla sent a full hundo to say, yeah, bye, Ryan. So here's what I'm gonna do. If somebody wants to negate that, it would take another 100 to keep Ryan from leaving, and it would be a leave for the evening. So you can't buy him back after he's out of here. Well, you can, but you have to send a full 100 to bring him back up. Okay. So I'm gonna give it 2 minutes, Ryan. So go ahead and cam back down and mute up. We're gonna give it a couple minutes, and if somebody wants to buy you back up, then we will leave you up here. And if they don't, we will let you do closing statements and you can say goodbye for the evening. Okay.
So fundamentally,
I just want to say that I'm
John, why are you sliding off your camera, bro?
well, this floor is really slick.
This floor?
Are you on the
It's
floor?
it's gravity.
Sitting on your floor?
Huh?
Your
You're
camera's
No, I'm
sitting on your
not. No,
The
I'm
floor
sitting in a
is
chair. But I gotta
Oh.
be careful of this chair because we just put
Why
in
is
new
your camera
hardwood
angled
flooring
down?
in
He just moved. He's setting
I just
stuff up.
moved. Yeah.
Okay.
But
He's in an alleyway right now. He's just chilling in an alleyway.
I'm in the living room because I
remember
can't put
trying
my
to
office.
He had to
outside
fight 3
anymore.
hobos for this exact spot. Cut him a break.
Exactly,
Okay?
yeah.
All right.
Let's fucking go, Almighty Nate.
Has not only matched Valhalla,
Oh my
but
God.
he also added another hundo. So Ryan, you are safe for an extra $100. So it would take another 100 to be able to boot you back. Okay.
Sarah, you got to pick up my debate con ticket.
RTP, I was just going to
Almighty
say
added
this
two
because
on.
I don't know or really follow your channel, but it sounds like you might be interested in things
Bro,
like
email him. Get the fuck out of here with your droopy ass floor.
sincerity-ism. And I just
I like this book. I have a book recommendation.
No. I just wanted.
God damn it, John.
Okay, Dusty, cool off. But I just wanted to know if you'd be ever interested in that or not. But,
Holy fuck.
In what?
I'd have to read. I'd have to read.
If you're
enough about it.
legitimately interested in that, or if you're just trying to
Turn him down on principle.
say all the things that are cool to say because Trump's in office now. So.
Talking about. Look,
Are you talking about the whatever it was that you?
I'm talking about the
brought up?
principle of subsidiaryism, which would always promote the local top bottom up.
This is insane.
rather
I'll read
than
about it.
central down, yeah.
Everybody.
I'll read.
to
I'm
ask if he's
open
interested
to
in
reading
your
about
book.
it, John. I'll let you know.
what I was going
So
to say
as a completely as a separate thing, it wasn't really talked about much tonight at all. I don't think it was touched on at all. Do you guys think that Kamala would have cut
Hold on,
10% of Medicare over the next 10 years?
Hold that thought. Let me finish out this thought, which was why you can't scale capitalism, right? Because if these economic principles work at a local level, if they work at, say, a national level, the principles should hold at broad scale, right? Unless there's something about the actual system that breaks that scale.
That's kind of what I wanted to say to that same point was I kind of agree with RTP at the scale we're at this point. I completely agree with capitalism on a fundamental scale, but where we're at now is we have such a level of a corporation class and also a level of corruption, which we can't deny. There's
Thank you for addressing literally nothing and a question that wasn't addressed to you at all.
That was epic.
First of all, Dusty, this is a panel. He asked the question to the panel, and I
asked it specifically to RTP. You're right; it is a panel. You can talk up, and I can talk up, and your response conveyed no useful information at all, even if it was.
You cut me off in the middle.
And may God have mercy on your soul.
Hey.
All right,
That was the end of the rant.
So,
I'm sorry I didn't do it.
yeah, I get the Billy Madison quote.
I got another 2 minutes.
Yeah.
I want Medicaid. 10% cuts over 10 years is crazy.
Yeah.
All right.
No.
So hold on. Sorry. Hold on, Colby, and I'll hit it back. So VD Cars says, nah, get Ryan out of here. Okay. All right, we're gonna do the same thing. You got a couple minutes. We'll let Ryan stay calmed down. He'll stay quiet, and we'll give a few minutes if somebody wants to match again. That works out right math-wise, right? Like this one locked him in for the night. This one said no, and then this one said yes plus another 100, right? And so here came the 100. So that math's right?
That brings it back to 0, so we should be just normal again if it's just back 100.
No, but he was kicked for 10 minutes originally. So
he was already.
So he should be
off.
back to like the 10-minute.
He was already.
So
off.
Almighty spent 300, and
Maybe.
the other guy did 200, right? So there's still isn't there $100? Wait.
Yo, come super chat my channel. Yo, what y'all?
I know this is where it gets confusing because Ryan was
With what you just said, it
backstage.
sounds like it all cancels out.
That's
Minus
what
the
I
10.
If we're talking about capitalism, I feel like Ryan should have.
Each side just give her $200 more, and let's move on with it.
So just put another $100 up, and then Ryan's out.
This one guaranteed him to stay on for the night. This one. Okay. So we're on the panel, solid, locked in. He can't get booted. This one negates that, which Actually, that would have brought him back to
Which that brings him back to normal,
Zero,
not
right.
zero.
Brain is fried.
Right?
Rob
I know
knows-
my brain is so
Yeah.
fried.
Penny is 1 penny behind because that's only 99.
I'm not worried about that penny.
And there was a 200, so
Okay, well, all
BD.
right. Well,
Oh,
BD
Lord.
Cars said, "Fuck it."
Yeah,
all right.
I think he had to do that
Problem
anyway.
solved.
But yeah,
That's-
I'll
okay,
calm down for a minute in case something else happens.
Okay, we're gonna leave it there. So now it's the boot, and then so we'll give a couple minutes if somebody wants to revive. We will. If not, we'll let Ryan do his closing statements. Okay.
So Flow State was asking a question, I think, to RTP, and I don't believe our RTP got a chance to answer. I would like to hear what RTP's answer was.
Was the answer about scale of capitalism?
Yes.
Okay. I think.
What was the
I
question?
think why it couldn't scale, right? Is that the question?
Yeah.
I think what I said is I haven't seen it scale. I've seen no evidence. My main issue with capitalism scaling is that I think that there often, especially in America where we have a lot of rural areas, there are places that capitalism like leaves holes. I think a good example is like what Mom Donnie is advocating for, where you have like government run grocery stores. This happened in Florida, in rural Florida. I think in northern rural Florida. I can't remember the name of the town, but basically the town was too small that the people operating the grocery store couldn't make money doing it. And so the grocery store left, and the town had no real choice. They just said, we're going to have to do something. So they operate their grocery store at a break even. There's no profit there, but the prices have been low. And it was a place where capitalism wasn't going to fill the void because there wasn't enough margin there for them to make sense of having a grocery store there. So that's a place where the
Capitalism
community
does
came
fill the
together.
void.
Not every
Amazon-
locality can
one sec,
support
one
a
sec, one
grocery
sec, one
store.
sec.
That's a business.
Amazon is a perfect example of how capitalism addresses that need on a global scale. Because you can buy anything on Amazon.
Terry,
globally, and they'd be able to.
Question would be,
uh,
why
with
would you
drones.
bother to save something that doesn't seem? Not everything is viable.
Yes,
right?
because the people still need food in that city.
There's a lot of really small towns that don't even have a gas station.
There's
little
like
off the highway towns.
Towns die all the time, right?
But
This is a
like-
natural thing in society.
That's what I'm
Nobody has
saying.
a
So
right to a grocery
capitalism-
store.
Capitalism leaves those holes, and your choices are either let those cities die
Yeah.
or fill that void with something else. And what they chose
So
to do, 'cause they
RTP,
didn't want the city to die. Is they
RTP, the
chose
problem
to
is your
have
premise. The
real quick,
foundational
can I just
premise
finish?
is that
Can I just
you
finish
think
real quick?
everybody has a
Real
right to
quick.
everything, right?
No, it's not a right.
Utopia.
No, this wasn't a right. This was a choice by the
Thank
city.
you so much, Kissy
They
Cat.
had the right to leave. They could have left. They could have done anything. The city, a bunch of Republicans came together and said, "We want to live here still."
Okay.
And we actually, if we operate this grocery store and we're not worried about turning a profit, we can make this work. They did the math. It's run by the city. It's been really, really successful. And that wouldn't work where I'm at in Phoenix because like there are places that are going to undercut, but there are voids where capitalism doesn't fill the role.
It doesn't. No, that absolutely doesn't matter. A lot of rural people drive 45 minutes an hour to get to a grocery store.
No, but that's
if they're not growing their own.
Because capitalism can't put a grocery store there.
It's not a void.
We're just gonna-
Why is that a
We're gonna
problem?
take an break for Kissy Cat because she spent $100 to not only keep Ryan on screen but also get some puppy love. We love puppy. Hi, Umbreon.
Yes,
Hi,
hi,
buddy.
everybody. Thank you all.
Mm,
Thank
so
you. Thank you so
cute.
much for the fight over Ryan's staying power. I'm always so flattered when I see the back and forth. It is
But
really
then,
encouraging. Me.
but then it doesn't save me from the 5 minutes in the back. I think we can handle 5. I think we can handle 5 backstage.
So we're bouncing across like multiple topics here. So this all started with talking about free market capitalism and how it would scale. The problem, in my opinion, with free market capitalism on a large scale basis is there's too much barriers to entry for small businesses to extrapolate across the country. So,
but that's false because that's not imposed by free.
stop
That's
interrupting
imposed.
me.
That's
We're
not a
covering-
free market capitalism imposition. That's a government imposition.
Exactly. Let me finish my statements, bro.
All right. Yeah.
Exactly. So this is a direct quote from RTP earlier in the debate. He said, "I'm for capitalism. I'm against free market capitalism, but not all markets." I forget how you phrased it, but basically you kind of contradicted yourself. You basically said you're for capitalism, but not all markets are free capitalism.
Correct.
Which
Yeah. So
I think
some
what you're trying to refer to is that
some markets,
at
yes,
scale,
some markets don't operate in, like
so,
healthcare, for example, is a perfect
exactly.
example because
Exactly.
like there's no limit to how much you will pay to save somebody in your family. So the cap is artificial. It doesn't operate the same way it would. Like if I want to buy a soda, I'm not going to pay $50 for a fucking soda.
I'm not talking
right?
about
Like
that.
there's a limit to what I'll pay.
I'm talking about like
that's not actually,
actual barriers to entry though. Of like if you're trying to start a robotics company, you don't just have to buy all the inputs now. You have to get leads to all the patents and copyrights. There's a lot of barriers to entry to just start a business now.
Right.
So that's why it's we're not in a free market capitalist
Well,
environment.
no, we're not. Right.
We're not.
Nobody's arguing that.
Yeah. And then to what he was saying about grocery stores, that's a different volume because grocery stores are a necessity because that's not
no, they're not.
That's a misvalue. Having a grocery store within 5 minutes of you is not a right.
Not 5 minutes.
I never said 5 minutes.
No,
but hold on.
But still, you don't need you don't need a grocery
Dusty,
store, but you need a hub where you can get food.
Said 5
Wait,
minutes.
just real quick. I want to be clear on the grocery store.
Stores are a necessity. Is that not?
Let me just
can we
let me
all
clear
agree
this
on
up.
that? Can we all agree on
Yeah,
that?
yeah, but I'm not saying that it's
No,
necessary.
I don't agree on that at all.
I'm just saying that there was a need. There was a need. The people said, "This is what we want. We want a grocery store here." I accept that it's not a right. I accept that it's not even necessarily need. They could go somewhere else, but the town said, "This is what we want." And capitalism didn't fill that role, so they had to choose a social program. And that's what I'm saying. Like having that ability to choose is a good thing. I think that was
how is that an indictment of capitalism?
But see,
I don't think it's an indictment of capitalism. I'm saying that that's why I'm a proponent of a mixed economy, because sometimes capitalism won't fill that role, and you may have a social program that can fill that role, and that's great.
But see, that's a key word.
How do social programs work?
Society gets together, they put down a little doctrine.
It steals from
we give the government money.
Society, right?
Is a community
well, yeah, they steal the money from us and then give it to other people who didn't work.
This is the taxation
completely sidetracked. He's completely sidetracked. But Ortiz trying to say is like the blame that there wasn't a shop there before is capitalism, and because a social program was able to provide that niche, and like capitalists quote unquote weren't able to address it. Like the whole idea of having the free market is that these niches are going to be addressed. So you don't have all this regulation and all this kind of shit. If I have the capital, I can take that risk. But because I take that risk, I also take the reward. But if I'm competitive, I'm going to offer competitive salaries and all this kind of shit. Yeah. This whole like government oversight is unnecessary because capitalism itself is a decentralized system. It's a concept.
Yes. So RTP,
so it can't be corrupted. Whereas
what do you
socialism
think?
is like, I want to regulate this, so it's like it's going to be corrupted because that man's going to want to take a direction.
Yeah.
Eric actually said it.
So RTP, I'm kind of trying to get at the idea that a social program needed to come in and fill this because the town wasn't getting food. So for a counterfactual, what do you think would have happened if that program wasn't implemented? Would all those people just die?
Well, can I guess? Because I don't know like how close.
Sure. I'm asking what you think. Yeah.
There was probably a grocery store within an hour, and that people would have traveled. I'm guessing that there may have been somebody who created a business that delivered groceries. But ultimately, the town said,
"No, that's how it works when you're rural.
It's preferable for us to do this rather than go through the rigmarole of driving 35 minutes."
I would say if it's real,
it's not a rigmarole; it's just part of your life, dude.
It would probably lean more like a farmer.
I think it's important for people to be able to get groceries. I don't know, like if we need some policy to make sure that people have access to groceries, I don't see why it's such a big deal.
But that's begging the question: do we need a program to make sure people get groceries?
If people don't have access to them, then yeah, probably.
There's lots of the world where you don't.
It chose to live there.
Hold on.
Why does it have? Can I ask you a question, Indian Jesus? Why does it have to be a need? Why can't
wilderness? You have to deal with the consequences of living.
Why can't it be a want? Like it seems to me that the opposition here is the idea of a social program. These are Republican voters who chose to do something collectively as a city. They chose to use their taxpayer money. It was a choice for them to collectively take that money.
Nothing wrong with that.
The sample doesn't demonstrate anything as far as
fine. But the question is to me. So there's nothing wrong with that. What I'm taking issue with is, and maybe I'm misunderstanding, but it seems like you're saying that this was a necessary program in this particular town. Because they would have starved or had to do this or that, and I'm just trying to make the point that okay, it could be a good thing that these people wanted, But again, maybe I'm confused. But it sounds like you're saying.
I'm not saying it's necessary. I'm saying it was more effective. They actually chose the most effective thing for them, the most simple thing for them, and that thing happened.
They chose to spend their money on a thing?
That thing happened to not be capitalism, which is fine. Like I don't have a problem with them doing that. Just the same way I don't have a problem with somebody that lived there had decided like I'm going to take over the grocery store and I'm going to have less workers and I'm going to operate on thin margins. I wouldn't have had a problem with that either.
That's completely. So I guess
that sounds very reasonable. It's not a dogmatic attachment to either one. Like it seems like some other people.
So yeah, I'm very confused then. If whoever is going against that notion of what RTP just said, he said some other dumb stuff, but just specifically about the grocery store. What is the opposition?
So RTP, if I may, because if an economy tanks, typically what happens is crime goes up. There's a reason for that, right? So if we're talking about people losing their homes, becoming homeless, right? We're talking about people can't go to the grocery store because there's no grocery store nearby. What's going to happen is they're going to walk over to their neighbor's house and they're going to break in to eat.
No, that's not. That's
what happens.
Maybe not directly, but
economic support for the town leaves or dies. The town leaves with it. There's no reason for people to still be living in an economy that's non-existent.
All right, hold on, guys. Everyone, take a breath. We're talking about three different points here. I believe
and none of them have to do with Trump or Kamala.
And none of them demonstrate failure in capitalism at scale either.
Exactly.
True.
If you want to live rural, things are going to be more spread out. That's part of the package.
Okay, but this is what I don't understand because I'm talking about choices that they're making. Should they not be allowed to make those choices?
I agree. More choices for people is better, right? And if the people in this town choose to do that, fine. That's fine.
We're talking about three different things. Briggs.
Actually, me and RTP are talking about the same fucking thing.
I think so. I think you and I
y'all keep interrupting.
I lost it. Anyways, more choices and less coercion is good, right? And the freer a capitalist economy is, the less coercion.
I agree.
Do you agree with that?
I agree completely. Yeah.
Okay, so it would be desirable to have as much free market as is possible because that reduces coercion. So
I agree.
Then at scale, I still think that even if there's a stupid town in Florida that wants to have Casey's taxpayer funded, it doesn't matter. Still, the objective should be at scale, free market capitalism, understanding that there will be exceptions to the rule. Right.
I don't know if free market capitalism would remove coercion, and the reason why I say that is that it seems like it would push a society that would have, like, let's say, Powder Dusty, the most powerful company, and he's aligned with like Teriyok, and he's aligned with, let's say, Colby and RTP. And now Ryan, this little guy, wants to get in, and they don't want to trade with him, so they've actually reduced the ability, not reduced, that none of them will trade. They just flat out won't trade because of the alliances that they have made within their businesses.
You're not looking at the perspective of the consumer. The reason why the consumer is giving that person that money voluntarily is because they see value in that product, and that person are like buy like the free markets, allowing the free markets to do. You're going to drive innovation.
Have you ever heard of the general store?
It's a necessity. It's not always drive innovation. Sometimes people put their money in businesses because they have to.
No, but the what is it like? The harsh truth that you won't face, that Flo keeps pointing out, was like, if this village cannot survive based on its own, like that's basically nature telling you it's like you need to go close to the city, you need to do something else to survive.
And not trading with somebody is not coercion, right? If you want to enter a market selling widgets, but you can't sell widgets unless I will trade with you, and I don't want to trade with you, I don't have to trade with you, right? And there's
the coercion. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. The coercion I was talking about is like the coercion of Teriyok, who only has a product that you want, and you won't sell with Ryan because Teriyok will refuse to sell with you, helping your company get larger. So you decide not to work with Ryan in order to keep Teriyok's product, which you absolutely
do you know
need.
what happens in that situation?
Yeah, because he has leverage over you, right?
Do you know what happens in that situation? Someone else comes in who's willing to work with everybody, and then they get all the money.
Hold on.
Yeah,
and if they don't, then
the market decides.
I'm fucked because
the free market.
It was kind of what happened that destroyed the general
Let me explain the
store.
moral of the story, because some people miss the moral story. The moral story here is, free market itself will enforce maximum cooperation.
Yes, but that's not what RTP
Perhaps.
brought up. That's not what RTP brought up at all. That's why I said we're debating three different things. It's because RTP.
You're debating the third
Let
thing.
me finish my point. No, it's because RTP brought up a rural.
Audrey, I have no clue what Colby's talking about.
Yeah, nobody does. I liked where Zerzu was going, and I
let me
want to
finish.
hear more about that. I mean, Colby thinks that USAID was like this huge laundering operation. So I'm not taking much of what he says very seriously, to be honest.
But that is basically what crippled the general store, was the fact that they would refuse to even sell products as simple as eggs to an individual within the community because they're standing within the community. And often the employees of the general store would work on borrowed money so that they could then pay their bills, which were higher than the money they were borrowing, and they ended up being seriously in debt, which is why we decided to stop doing the free trade general store type marketing.
But so what RTP is talking
Well, when
about.
somebody's not giving me eggs, they pretty much have power over me.
Not fucking coercion. Google the word.
So with
he's talking about, he brought up
with property
rural
rights, trespass also comes into play. Did you know
Bro,
that?
can you not go onto Amazon and buy eggs right now and get delivered to your house? Like, what are we
I
talking
buy a
about?
lot of
Like,
shit
they
on
have
Amazon.
power
I'm an
over me because my
Amazon
local
beast.
shop won't sell me eggs. What the fuck are you talking about?
You can get eggs that'll hatch into chickens delivered to your house right now.
Wait, hang on. If I'm not allowed, if whatever
thing for a long time.
If whatever business is refusing to engage with me, right, and they have they have some sort of like monopoly on this sort of thing, is that what we're talking about? Like, I can't access this thing without doing business with them, and they won't do business with me. I'm just fucked, right? I have to do whatever they would want me to do to be able to access it. Like at the end of the
Absolutely.
day, right?
Right.
Like I would basically be like, they could enslave me if they wanted to.
Ryan,
Well, I mean, you could move, of course, but that's. I mean, we could also say that about Texas with the flooding
Yeah, but
and
what you're talking about
the
is a
problem
monopoly.
with the
The monopolies don't
snowstorm that
exist.
knocked out all the power.
Because you feel
it's
like
a really horrible idea to say
doesn't
that.
entitle you to it. You understand that?
Yeah, but
Flo, bring your
Okay,
mic
that's fine, but
down.
I like all this like moral philosophizing. I just want to eat fucking food. Like I'm hungry.
I got a dick you can eat, motherfucker.
Yeah, but I don't want to eat. I want to eat a cheeseburger, not your dick. Right, and so this now I'm being coerced into eating his dick so I can get a bite of a cheeseburger.
There's really no nutritional value.
Ryan,
in
why
that.
does everybody else have to adjust to what you want to do?
Perfect.
That's because I don't want to die. I don't want to die, bitch.
Tomato, fierce and red, juicy curves,
This message is sponsored in part by.
Thank you, sir.
That was a good question.
You never know who the message is for.
I have never heard somebody say thank you,
Stop
a
it.
dude say thank
Stop
you
it.
for the firefighter. So
Yeah.
that was pretty cool.
Because it got all you to shut
I
the
never
fuck
met
up.
tips, man.
I still haven't been able to finish the point because Dusty keeps cutting me off.
Another happy dick customer.
So
I heard
My-
somebody else is taking over.
yeah,
Only if I'm forced
there
to.
you go. You got the real boss of the house in the.
Wait, did she just get up off her knees? Caldy says this is from the Monopoly against Ryan.
Pretty sure I stole a
Buddy.
buffer. Sorry, Caldy.
There's a key point.
Hey, Caldy.
Lumping in with the RTP socialized grocery store point, which is that he brought up a rural county that lost their corporate grocery store that moved. So a community-based project started where they started a grocery store. That's different than everything y'all are talking about. Y'all are debating of supply and demand and other
economic.
We never once mentioned supply and demand. Like what
No,
we're talking about,
yes.
what we would say is that
Stop
even
it.
if that social program, what me and Flo were saying is, even without that social program, you would have started have seen mom and pop shop, all these farmers on stuff trying to
Tarek, you
address
keep
this
interrupting.
need.
So that's the point. They started that mom and pop. That's what the mom and pop was. So it's in that essence. I mean, yeah, in a fully rural county, you can get eggs, vegetables, fruits, probably flour, milk.
You're the only one still confused. You know that.
Yes.
No.
Neighbors trade with each other and barter, and like a lot
The
of
main
rural
objective
people
here-
make their
the
own
main
stuff
objective
too.
here is capitalism.
Rumble,
What would have
Rumble, you
addressed
had a
it-
good
what
question.
would have
that was-
addressed
so,
this
so
need?
Ryan, about
Most
why
people are the ones that are not missing my not getting my point. I'm saying there's a difference between a tax-funded socialized grocery store versus what RTP is talking about, which is
You
a community-based, almost like a farmer's market with a storefront.
You're right. I'll ask it again because you did bring up a good point. Why, Ryan? Why is everybody else required to adjust around where you want to live and the conveniences that you want to have?
You keep bringing up because I want this, I want that.
We
Why
do that
does-
right now with like
you?
the postal service. That's how we do the postal service, right?
No,
Like,
but
we make-
you
like,
specifically.
we-
Why is it what you want?
If
Obviously, we
I'm
all
an
want
American
what we want.
citizen, then yeah, we have.
But we're
we
all
deliver to,
American
like, really.
citizens.
Oh my god!
You,
calm
hold
the
on,
fuck
you're missing the
down,
question.
dude.
You're missing the question. You're missing the question.
No, I'm not.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Let him answer.
I'm engaging with the question actually. Like we
You're
do.
saying
We do
you
this
want
with the
what you
postal
want as
system
an
already. We
American
deliver
citizen.
mail.
That's
Even
not
when
the que-
shut the fuck up, dude.
All right, you go, and then I'll answer the question.
right.
Ask me
What
the
is,
question, and then you talk about
Shut
things that
up.
you are not
Shut
talking
up,
about.
Shut up. RTP, you sent this to me. What were you?
Oh, this is just what I sent to Rob. So this is how we got that 2.5 or 0.25 real wage growth per month. What you have here is this is the wage growth tracker. You're going to take Biden's actual nominal wage growth, which is between 0.44 and 0.5, depending on where you're at here, and then you're going to give it a 2.5% inflation. So if you remove the inflation caused by COVID and you take the average inflation, which is about 2.5%, that's where you get the point between 0.23 and 0.29 real wage growth per month. Just so that everybody here knows. Just so that everybody here knows, that's what I was citing. I was saying if you take these numbers from Biden and you apply average inflation rather than the inflation caused by COVID, that's where they get those numbers. Again, not very central to my claim, but I just want to throw it out there because Rob said I wouldn't do this. Rob said I would lie about it, that I would never send this. I've now sent it. I've explained the math to him. Again, it's not a compelling argument. It's not a compelling argument for anything.
You need
other
multiple
than,
thing to get a full picture, though.
Explain the
Well,
Just that
it was
chart.
not. It was never.
Look,
It was never going to be a full picture. I was just adjusting for average inflation.
Even if
That was it.
Yeah, I was gonna say even if I back it up to 2008, like rate it to 2019 mark. So you're saying basically it would be kind of making like a straight line go like a incline almost if you kept that 2.5 instead of all like avoiding this part. I guess was it this part you were talking about from COVID?
Yeah,
22?
what I was saying is that the inflation was caused by COVID, and the only way that you can really factor that out, and it's all going to be hypothetical, is you can take the nominal wage growth and apply an average inflation rate, which is 2.5. So if you take the nominal wage growth and you apply an average inflation, that's where you get between 2.23 and 0.29. So that's where I got those.
How is 7.2? Like under Biden, 7 was like norm for the first 2 years, if I recall.
Yeah, what I was saying is that those
2020 and 20 or 2021, 2022 is that not right? Am I off on that?
I don't know if you were. I don't know if you were here
around
during
7
that part.
average for both of those.
Yeah, the argument
my bad.
was that inflation wasn't caused by Biden; it was caused by a global pandemic. And so I'm saying if you remove that and you take the nominal wage gains under Biden and you apply what our normal inflation rate is, which is 2.5, that's how you get those wage growth. Again, it's a hypothetical number. That's assuming that none of the inflation was caused by Biden. That's just saying like average inflation. That's why I kept telling Rob, like, this is not, I don't know why we're harping on this. It wasn't like a central point, but he said I wouldn't do it. I found it. Here it is. I sent it to Sarah and I sent it to Rob. But just so everybody here knows, like, I don't.
Well, yeah, if you're using a hypothetical number, it's like, how can you argue with a hypothetical number?
He said the average. He said it was the average.
We didn't need to talk about it as much as we did. I agree.
Yeah, he said factor in the 2.5 inflation on average.
Right. That was labor statistics too, right? As your source.
He said take Biden's. I'll read it. Take Biden's actual nominal wage growth figures from the trackers, which places nominal growth between 0.44% and 0.5% recently. For inflation, a 2.5 annual rate converts to roughly 0.21 monthly. 0.44% to 0.5% nominal wage growth per month minus 0.21% inflation per month. It equals about 0.23% to 0.29% real wage growth per month.
You have to take into account okay, the inflation, the quoted inflation rate, the CPI, then the labor, unemployment and labor participation rates, and I like to include the Baltic Dry Fred chart index.
I don't think you understand
as a really good indicator of how the economy is doing. And you got to take all like you get a kind of
I don't
complete picture.
think you understand what my argument was.
I'm not
what I was
It's
trying to
dry
do,
goods that ship from Asia, essentially.
Okay, cool.
We were just trying to normalize the monthly wage growth, and I was trying to normalize it between Trump and Biden, and I tried to factor out COVID. I tried to factor that out of Trump and factor that out of Biden, and so that's why we had to choose like a standard 2.5% inflation rate. So I agree with you. This wouldn't tell a whole picture. I agree when you say that, like, if you want to look at a complete economic picture, this isn't it. But I wasn't trying to say it was a complete economic picture. This was just one data point that Rob took exception to.
Yeah, and it was actually really frustrating because it seemed like he kept kind of pulling you to a different claim and like asserting that you made a different claim. But I'm pretty sure that was like the thing you were holding to like the entire conversation. And then when everyone else came on, like with Andrew and everyone, they started like asserting it as well. They're all in unison, like saying like, no, you meant this. You said, I think, I don't know if any of the people who are still here did that, but it was really, it was kind of gaslighting really. And it was quite frustrating.
And as far as the data point, I think the data point was gave a lot more meat to the substance so that we could talk about it than a simple, TikTok post. That copy pasted TikTok post was a little classy.
No, all the news comes from TikTok. Do you not participate in convenient reality these days? I mean, that's how it works.
I was unaware of that, sir.
I think a lot of people get their news from Twitter, unfortunately.
Hey, Sarah, I got to take off. It
was Twitter. Yeah, correct. Sorry.
I always appreciate your guys' panels, though. Good meeting all of you. Good to see you again, Ryan.
RTP, your
RTP, good to meet you.
Subscribe to me, by the way.
I disagree with a lot of you, but
all right. Now that Rob's not
just cut down on the ad homs a little bit, and it would be a good time.
That's fair. I do want to know, honestly, were the signs funny or no?
No, I love the signs.
I'm pro signs.
Maybe if you did it once.
Shut up. Signs are funny, but during closing statements, it was disrespectful.
Well,
yeah, I wasn't worried about being respectful to Rob at that point.
That's realistic. I think if you if you just use it once, that will be good. If you just throwing it up, then it gets old.
I used it too much. All right.
I can say this.
I thought they were.
I mean,
funny.
Rob does the tactics. Sorry.
No, you really didn't use them a whole lot, actually.
Yeah.
No,
but Rob does those tactics a lot.
I don't think it was overused. But I will say, I think during closing statements, it would be considered to be very disrespectful.
Yeah, I'd agree.
I mean, Rob said some disrespectful stuff in that closing statement too. Like,
it goes very personal on my child.
Overall, you're getting a thumbs up. You're getting a thumbs up.
Thanks, Jesse. All right, guys.
RTP, you said you're headed out.
Yeah, I got to get going. I appreciate it, guys. It was fun hanging out.
Keep it sexy, man. Good to meet you.
One-on-one, bro. I'm gonna hit you up.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. Hit me up on Twitter if you guys want to talk.
Didn't take his hat off.
We'll do it.
My hat's off to you, sir.
He doesn't
pay
have
extra for that.
That's right.
No, you don't have to. Just it's a choice.
Hi, RTP. Okay, to the chat. I made a speed round and a stupid, ridiculous dono goal to hit in 15 minutes because it is 3 a.m.
It is
3 a.m. And so hit it or we go night-night. Your choice. I think Dusty left.
Sarah, do you have a course on how to get people to pay you that much?
What's that?
What?
So do you have a course on how to get people to pay you that much? I give a treat
Ryan,
to Morty.
Coder.
I give a treat to Morty every super chat, no matter the amount, and it's working a little bit. But the other thing is, if we hit the goal, then I got to do push-ups because I'm too.
It seems like
having the CCVs on hand helps a lot.
It seems like the goal is to have Ryan on your chat because Ryan brought in like $700 just now.
Hey Ryan, you mind just coming on my channel and be like, guys, if you give me money, I will get rid of this lefty.
Well, that's the name of the game for open panel, right? That's when you guys are in control, not you on panel. That's when the chat is in control of how this panel works and operates. I pay a lot of money for the StreamYard program, like the level that I have to be able to have all of those extra seats backstage. So it does have to come to fruition on
They just upped it to like 800, right?
Yeah, it's very expensive for the year.
Yeah, I just went down with a
We're
low
not
tier.
talking numbers here. We all good.
But in any event, that's kind of the open panels obviously do way better in donos than the regular debates do. But I'm glad that the chatters can kind of have their way and have their say and fuck with you guys while you're up. It makes it harder, right? Especially for people like Ryan, it makes them harder. And then it's like you got to find friends who do want to keep you on stage, and there's incentive to bring your friends over, so it works.
I get that.
And
I think it's a great model because
doing.
the
I'll
more
even-
serious debate show probably gets more viewers for the open panel show. Serious, so then that becomes the
I'll
money
even
maker.
say sometimes I've had very small content creators run higher numbers than even Andrew Wilson being here. So, yeah, like it just depends.
Andrew Wilson's fans are broke, so
yeah. I mean, I don't even have 1,000 subs, and like I think I bring like huge amount of money to this channel. Frankly,
Ryan does great. I mean, but if it wasn't you, it would end up being someone else. So there. It would be someone else. The chat does its thing.
I'm too insecure to have that role. If I was getting kicked off, I'd be like, I hate this. I don't want to do this anymore. So shout out to you, bro.
I don't know. I like
bring you some money.
I don't mind. I do other stuff like when I'm in the back, I can like go work on shit, and so I just kind of chill up here. And I like being involved in the conversation, and I like promoting myself as well. And to that, the point where you were like, oh, come onto my channel and stuff. Like, I think that's going to be something that people are increasingly trying to do because they see what's happening right now, where I'm getting booted on and on and off, and they want some of that action. And to be honest,
they want to hear what they're missing.
Yeah.
I will say
you gotta
good for
give
everybody
me a good
involved.
case for why I should come on your channel, and maybe you can come do that over at my channel, youtube.com/radicalcoder. But yeah,
I know RTP's gone. He just left, but props to him. He did
shameless plug.
2+ hours in the debate section and like 2+ hours in the gauntlet. And I mean,
He did. It's been almost 6 hours. Somebody's. I think.
Anybody else have any reason why Kamala would actually make things better than they are right now?
Yeah, so I think that Kamala Harris would not have done this big, beautiful bill thing where they cut 10% of Medicaid over the next 10 years. I think that was a bad idea. It's going to kick a lot of people off their Medicaid. Even if you think that's a good thing because you think those work requirements are good, you're still necessarily going to remove people who can't meet those requirements. So I think that's a bad thing. I don't think Kamala
Ryan, just FYI, as far as I could be entirely like a little bit off on this one, a little tiny bit, but as far as I understand, every single state in the union, the largest line item for every single state's budget is Medicaid.
Okay, so because it provides a lot of stuff. Yeah.
This super chat came in on your end, I believe.
Yes, we get every donation comes with a treat for Morty. Thank you so very, very much.
I love that. And that's also another benefit here is if you're plugged in, if you're dual streaming and synced into the StreamYard, your people too can boot from other people's shows, whoever's tapped in. So you have to be completely synced in. I have to be able to bring it up. But and you know how this actually started?
I'm working on it.
Do you want to know how this started? I was hosting a random open panel one night and somebody asked me from the chat, they're like, Sarah, can we pay to boot that person? And I was like, yeah, okay. And then it turned into a thing. And thus began the grift of booting people.
Yeah, you mentioned grift. There's been a couple people on my channel that's like, it's a grift. And I'm like, well, I mean, she's owning it. So,
Yeah,
but you're getting a service for your money, right? Like you pay to boot someone.
Right.
Well, not only that, it's kind of
it's not like you're using dishonesty. Now, I believe that a grift requires dishonesty. I think that for it to be a grift, you have to tell somebody, I'm going to do X, Y, or Z, and you not provide X, Y, or Z. Whatever X, Y, or Z was. That's just
I think that in these spheres we kind of use the word grift a little bit like ironically, like it's I mean there are surely some people who are actually grifting who do that, but I think generally when like Sarah, even Andrew, for all of his faults, I think he's generally sincere about his like political beliefs and stuff. So I don't think he's grifting.
I think it gets thrown around a lot because sometimes the Overton window has been stretched so much that like someone will have a crazy idea and be like, "Is that real?" Or
or is it fantasy? Lost in a landmine to escape from reality.
Sometimes you have to smash a few tomatoes to get some seeds.
There you go. There you go.
I don't know. I think it's fun. Everybody has fun with it, and it also keeps the backstage shuffling through because if I sit here and wait for somebody to just leave, then anyone backstage can't be brought up. So it's a good incentive to to be able to maneuver people around, and the panel just constantly shifts, and then people come in, with smoke, or some people come in and sit quietly, and it keeps it fresh and it keeps the entertainment high.
Kudos to you. I anticipate when I started, I wanted to do a panel show, and then it just not for me. Not for me. I like having my own domain. I can say what I want when I want, and everybody else has got to listen to me.
It's very dangerous if you think about it. I mean, I have to be careful with I don't know some of these people. I've never seen them, I mean,
you got people that want to dox you and swat you and all kinds of stuff. Don't let out too much personal information.
Or sue you. Indian Jesus.
Oh, yeah. And then sue you and then show up in the back chat.
Yeah. I met you at DebateCon, right? But had you shown up randomly prior to that, I would have never known you. But I have to hope and trust that you're going to come on and not say slurs or things that'll get me shut down, right? So it's a very risky position to be in an open panel mode. But, I hope it continues, and I hope everyone keeps it, flowing and enjoys it. I think I do an all right job at managing panels, but it is also not meant for everyone. I get it. It's a fucking headache. I go to bed with a headache every fucking night. But
now you have to admit, Sarah, that sometimes you get happy that somebody kicks somebody off, and you're like, oh yeah, I don't get to be the mean guy. The guys in the chat get to be the mean.
Exactly. So I still keep my hands clean. The chat is the one that is guilty of kicking and booting people to the back. So
the chat's savages. I'll personally be the first to say I found your channel because I'm a one of Indian Jesus's loyal fans, and I came on here, and then I hopped off for like 5 seconds, and then someone immediately, it was Saint immediately super chatted me out for like $10. I was like, what the fuck? I said nothing.
Yeah, it'd be like that.
Saint is savage.
Yeah.
Well, the best part with that, when you get booted out, you go to the back of the line again.
I know. Trust me. I know. I've been waiting.
He's like, I know.
Yeah.
Well, you answered my DM. I was going to super chat you to get up there, but I didn't know if you're still back there.
Yeah.
You have a series of questions that you ask when you interview people, and it's about empathy in our society. And I was wondering if maybe one day I could get a little stab at answering those questions. You know, you go through, ought we have empathy, or ought we make a more empathetic society? I'll probably give you a little clip of the exact comment I'm talking about if you don't remember exactly what I'm talking about. But you've said it a couple of times, and I kind of like that little mind game.
Who are you talking to?
Sarah?
You, Sarah?
Sarah, yeah.
Me?
Yeah, I'll have to show you what I'm talking about sometime. But there's a series of questions that you ask about creating an empathetic society, and should we? And I think that it's a fun little mind game.
Was that from last week?
Yeah, and I think you've done it one other time, at least that I know of, and I'd like to stab at those questions one time.
Bad?
Yeah,
it is very bad. Think about it. It's the weakest link. I mean, empathy can be great to a degree in terms of ensure, if somebody's injured or sick and it's manageable. Like every time a man gets a man cold, us ladies, we have to be incredibly empathetic. And oh my God, you're dying. You have the sniffles. But
it's the worst thing ever, Sarah. Please don't discount that.
But
dude's getting the sniffles is literally hell.
But if I if I give out empathy to people who don't even like, they don't even want to do things for themselves, or they don't even want to like, they're the weakest link. You know what I mean? And I'm empathetic to the cause. I'm like, oh, poor you, and they're not doing anything about, like, like,
or even
all
worse,
I'm
are
doing is
people
Can't help people who won't help
who would
themselves.
weaponize that empathy that you do have against you.
I think,
those are
and let me
the
tell
worst
you
ones.
something about the YouTube streets, okay? Do
In
not
these streets.
mistake my kindness for weakness, because I've had a lot of people try to tap into my kindness and open door policy and end up learning the hard way how I'm not being kind. I'm
Right.
being civil and cordial to everyone, and have an open door policy. It doesn't always mean that I'm empathetic, but they try to assume I am, and that's not my stance. Not my stance at all. I just happen to be incredibly nice to people. But that's, a lot of people try to weaponize that.
I personally will be the first to say, I think men, as much as we try to act like we're all macho, when we get sick or we get the sniffles, we're kind of pussies. I'll be the first to say, like, when a man gets a
Kinda.
cold, he's like, I'm
Didn't I
out for
say
2
that?
days. Versus when women get a cold, they're just like back on the track. But to say what you're saying, empathy on a small scale is very important. Where you're talking about like empathy to people you know or to people you trust is very important. But when you try to extrapolate empathy to society, it doesn't work.
Mhm.
We can't be empathetic to everyone.
Well, I mean, I think sometimes empathy can just be like a practical thing. Like, I mean, you don't always have to frame it as empathy, but like the fact that I think it's useful to have empathy for people who are in really bad situations, like just as a practical manner, because I think it's annoying to walk down the street and be surrounded by homeless people. Like, I've lived in a lot of downtown areas. I've been around a lot of homeless people. It sucks. It is a miserable experience, not just for them, obviously for them, but also for me having to walk by them, right?
Yeah.
It's selfishly, it's annoying. Like, I don't want to deal with people starving in the street. I don't want to step over dead fucking bodies, right? Like, so I think that having
That's what I
empathy
mean, like-
and having the practical, hang on, I'm almost done, and having like a practical concern about not wanting to deal with these, with like a collapsing society because like of whatever moral failing we might think that people have that is why they're not taking care of themselves. I think that we can kind of investigate that issue at a broader scale, and it doesn't have to be like a framed as a weakness. I think it can be a societal strength, really.
I also think that we need empathy as a tool in our society. We don't want to overwhelm our society with empathy, as far as it's a functional thing that we need. And without it, if we remove it entirely, then we end up like creating a society. Let's remove it. That's a society without empathy. Would you want your rulers not to have empathy for you?
We're not talking about ruling.
Would you like your government, the only government that can form from a non-empathetic society?
Hold on. I watched this little docu thing ish about she was actually a social media influencer, probably like a little TikTok-y thing or whatever. And there was a homeless guy on the street, and she happened to be walking out of a store or something, ran into him, and she's like, you know what, let's go and get you some groceries or something. You know, I think she went and bought him coffee first and then got into conversation with him. Then she ended up going and getting the man a hotel room, paying for that, buying him groceries, all these things, and like paid for stuff to get him through a couple weeks. Then she got him a phone and said, I want to keep up and in touch with you. And this went on again and again and again, and to the point where her supporters were sending more money in order to help fund this whole scenario. Then even hotels got involved, and they were, sponsoring and giving him a room for free for a little bit. And it got to a point where like the guy, this homeless man, ended up like stopped taking phone calls from the girl. Wasn't he was supposed to go out and get his license and do all this stuff. She went through all of this work to get him his birth certificate and got through all this stuff to help him, and he wouldn't go get his, he wouldn't do all of these things that would have been more productive for him to do so, all because she was so empathetic to buy him a coffee, but then let that keep going and going and going and going, all to lead to the same exact thing, and for him to end up exactly where she found him. Empathy is the greatest weakness you could ever have, especially if you extend it to people you don't know. Empathy would be like if my daughter came to me crying and upset because somebody hurt her feelings, and I need to be empathetic in the moment and make sure, even though, like, one part of you just wants to be like, put your big girl pants on, welcome to the big world, but the other part of you is like, no, that's not what she needs right now, because I've been in a situation like this before. I understand how it feels. Like, sometimes you just got to let people cry it out. But when you extend empathy to supplementing for people, to giving handouts, to like changing your whole like governmental structure around to accommodate people because we want to feel bad for them, that's when you end up that's when you say, here's to all the weakest links, let me just change everything around so that you now look better than what you did, even though you're still in the same shitty position that
That's
you
what
were
I
to begin
mean.
with.
Now on that, I absolutely.
That's what I mean from like large scale to small scale. Like on like a social small scale level, you want to be empathetic to your friends, family, people around you. It's good to be empathetic to help people, but once it's stretched out to a large scale level,
too much. Yeah. And Sarah, let me know if this is a little unrelated. It's tangentially related, but I feel like also because my channel is only not even 5K subs, and I already am getting an elevated level of people, vying for my attention that I would expect at like 10K, 25K, where it's like people are DMing me stuff, and it's like, yo, I cannot spend my entire day just going back and forth. People feel bad about it, but it's like at a certain point, that's what it is, because people think it's a smaller channel that I'm just me, and I am. But I don't know, Ryan, at your size, have you experienced? Because it came on.
Yeah, I mean, I get message. I mean, I'm kind of avoidant in general, so I always have a lot of messages in my backlog, like even from like close friends of mine, and I'm kind of bad about that sometimes. Even Sarah, I sometimes don't get back to super quickly, although I'm working on that. But like, I mean, we're talking about stuff.
See, I know when you like, I know that about you. But you also don't wait 3 days to get back to me either, right?
No,
like
I
know I'll hear
I
from you
do.
by the end of the day. If it's something a little more important, I might hit the notify button. But like outside of that, I don't expect, if I need something faster, I know I need to prompt you for it. But to your question, Indian Jesus, I think that's where you feel obligated and guilty or bad or like, these are my people, so I have to. And that's where you're letting like something else run that. Me, I have like a 2 message response per day to people who are messaging me that aren't other content creators that I'm not working with, trying to get something set up or something like that. Everybody else, I'm like 2 max, and that's about it. Or maybe a little LOL or a reaction, because that's all I can give. Right. And I think they're fully aware of that. And most people recognize that when they message me. They're like, I don't want to bug you, but I just want to say X, Y, and Z.
I think I put
getting
myself out there a little bit.
Getting back onto the empathy thing, I wouldn't say that I'm suggesting a type of empathy where you're actually causing harm to the person that you're being empathetic for, or the type of empathy that you're being a harm to yourself by being empathetic. I'm just talking about an average level of empathy for mankind. If we remove that from our society, if we only have a society that has no empathy, then we can only form one type of government that is of our society, one that has no empathy. And I don't think I would want people with no empathy running the country, making decisions for me.
That's also not what we're saying. That's also not.
Well, that is the large scale.
Like what Sarah's pointing out is there are simply, the harsh truth is there are simply just people out there, like no matter how many benefits or programs you try to sign them up for, they will not go to them. And like you set them up with the hotel room, and it's like you walk in them and like they're literally still doing the same drugs, all this kind of stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I'd rather set him
the
up
reason
with
why
a
they're homeless
social
is because of their behavior will
than
not
to have
change.
him break into my home and steal my stuff.
I think we should still have our layer of protection for the vulnerable and the weak. And I mean that by way of like elders and children, because there is a need for that. But to me, as far as like extending that care externally to, like, in terms of making legislation or, sending up bills and making judgment calls and stuff like that. Empathy will be the ruin of it, because overall, if you're extending, like, oh, I feel bad for them, like, I can understand what it's like to, not have enough of this or enough of that, but I also put myself in those shoes too, and say, if I was in that position, I'd fucking
I'd
fix
move
it.
myself forward. Yeah,
Right.
I mean, I'm gonna
So,
get out of the
for what
hole.
I
yeah,
know, but
and
like, it's very easy to say that, but like, I've personally been in a hole like that too. I'll give you a real life scenario that happened tonight. I was grocery shopping, and when I came out to my car, I had a cart full of shit, and then a guy came up to me, and he didn't ask for money. He asked if he could do anything for me for money, meaning he offered to clean out my car of trash, and I said, nah, I'm probably good on that. And then he offered to take my cart back, and I was like, yeah, that's helpful. And I gave him $2, and he took my cart back to the cart return. So in that type of mindset, to me, it's like, I appreciate the approach of being like, can I do anything for you in return for something, versus someone just,
It's way better.
yeah, versus someone just standing on the corner being like, can I get $1?
Well,
like,
let me put it. Hold on. Let me put it to you this way. I'll use real life scenario here that would maybe make sense. I have 15 seats backstage. Okay, only 10 can be on screen at once. All right, so there's a lot of people that pop up backstage who really always want to get on. Right. But they're just in this line, or maybe somebody gets booted or whatever the case may be. And it's like, oh, that sucks. If I extended empathy to all of these people, well, I wouldn't have a fucking show, because everybody would just want to be like, well, and they do. They whine and cry in the back chat. Why am I not coming up yet? Why is this?
Oh, yeah.
Why I get booted? That's not fair. If I said, oh, yeah, that's not fair. Come here, honey boo. Let's put you on screen. I wouldn't have a fucking show.
Totally.
So
But
that's what I'm
yeah.
saying. You have to let that shit go. And the same applies when you're doing government and working with other people like that. You have to say, rules are rules, get in fucking line, deal with it, shut up, stop crying. Because we all really technically have to deal with it. We have to be bothered with these uncomfortable situations. Shit fucking happens. Get over it. We're all going to move along and figure it out. You can either sit there and whine and cry about it, or you can just do it. Pick one.
So there's actually
I just try to come back. Like, if I get booted 1 or 2 times, I just try to come back with a little more fire. I don't try to, cry too much about why'd you boot me. I made a comment at first in the private about, haha, I forget what it was.
I think there's a fundamental difference. I think there's a fundamental difference between like this is why I brought up my avoidant tendencies and stuff, because there's a difference between personally or even a small private business having the amount of spoons that you are capable of giving to people around you and people who are customers and all this stuff, and then there's government policy level. I think what we're yes, there are people who are going to fall through the cracks of any policy solutions, but if we do have the capability, if we do have if we do produce the kind of excess where we can actually provide people with a baseline of standard of care that they have access to if they actually need it, then I just don't see any world where that's a bad thing to do.
Ryan,
Ryan, of course, there's always people who take advantage of it, but there's going to be way more people.
Ryan, we are in debt.
Fuck situation. Sorry, guys, I didn't mean to finish my sentence while you were talking.
Ryan, we are all in debt. It's not a wealth. It's not an abundance. It's not. We don't have our own masks on before we're trying to put the mask on somebody else in the airplane right now.
What are you talking about? I'm not in debt.
The entire United States is in debt.
No, I'm not.
No, that's.
You owe.
United States debt is not the same.
Everybody in the United States owes.
Again, these are very different concepts.
Hold on. We're not talking about personalized.
We're living on debt.
Yeah,
you're living on debt, not me.
No, me personally, but the entire country is.
But still,
actually, I wanted to say this.
Rumple, when are you going to get a new mic? It's killing me. Yes. You need to do a fundraiser. It's just like every time you talk, your voice. It's so loud, but it's not clear.
Well, hang on. Let me adjust things a little bit. No, my mic is great. This is a beat up Shure 58 from the 90s. This is a Pinnacle.
Oh,
hang on.
I promise.
I got a rock band.
Whatever money you spent on that thing,
Test 1 2. How's that? Is that better?
no.
It's still hot and fiery.
On my stream and everywhere else, it sounds great. I'll look into if it
Yes,
might
I do
really
gotta
sound bad on
run.
your
I gotta
stream.
take Morty out before he poops in my bed or my room or something. But thank you so much for having me, guys. Definitely check out. I know we stream at the same time.
no, it is.
But every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, the Indian Jesus official. Thank you so very, very much, guys. You have
Indian Jesus, link
a-
yourself in the back so I can find you, please.
Will
Before you
Indian
leave.
Jesus.
Take care.
No, Sarah, I just heard myself, and yeah, that's bad. I'm not
Yeah.
sure what's going on there. I just
It's
changed some
like
settings.
steady static.
So
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'll figure it out.
one thing, Ryan. So
There's a word for what you guys
you
are actually
started to say
describing.
people
It's called enabling, right?
No, no,
so
no.
you're saying empathy, but when you go to the point of enabling, you have empathy. That's fine. But when you go to the point of enabling people to take and take and take, that's when it becomes a problem.
That's a problem.
Yeah, be empathetic, not pathetic.
But like,
Indeed,
sure.
The terminology.
And like on the food stamps, for decades they've had where they had, sorry.
Let me put it this way. It's some 40-year-old grown man.
Hey, that's me.
Comes to you and goes to the lawmakers and says, "Hey, I want to be able to change these laws. I want to be able to marry a 12-year-old girl."
That's not me.
And well, hold on. And it's like, and the lawmakers are like, "No, that's stupid." But I really want to, and I feel terrible that I can't. And yet he and gets sad and lonely, and the lawmakers like, "Oh, you're sad about it? Oh, you know what? I know what that feels like. You know what? I should probably let's help you out there, buddy. We'll go ahead and
I'm not
pass
into
this
that
law,
level
right?
of empathy.
That's what I'm saying. Put it to the extreme. Put it to the absolute extreme, and this is why empathy is a terrible thing. Just the same as a dog laying down on the ground, with foam in its fucking mouth, but it's whining, and you're like, "Oh no, poor little doggy, I should fix you," and then now you're all fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, I get that.
empathy
Too
doesn't
much of
mean
anything, like
obliging.
too much water will kill you. So I don't want way too much.
Well, that's called
empathy, but some
hyponatremia, and it's lack of
empathy
electrolytes.
is required.
The water
Empathy doesn't mean
actually kill you.
obliging every demand. Like it's just they're
The
not.
water doesn't kill you.
I mean,
I don't agree.
I think
with
that I think that
that's
example, Sarah, is it's not always to that. I think most people would say no, but
this is how you got gay marriage in, right? Well, we want to, and I'm not saying, I'm not trying to battle it. I'm utilizing this as an example. I want to be able to marry who I love. Like, I love this person. I want to be, and that's an appeal to. That's an appeal to your feelings, right? An appeal to emotions. And so you are hoping that they'll want to extract that same feeling, say, well, I would want to marry who I want to marry, right? So then that's how that.
There's two parts to the argument, though, Sarah. You're right. Hang on, real quick, Colby. Yes, you're right. One part of that is hey, I want to marry who I want to marry, and the second part is I want to marry who I want to marry, who also is consenting to being married. Right? A 12-year-old can't do that. So those are two important cores to that argument, which is why we wouldn't override the individual rights of that 12-year-old to not be married away to this grown man.
And that part, as well as with the gay argument. Look, I understand that people have a moral position on that. I do myself, but I don't want violent gay people. So I say they can do what they want to do when it comes to that.
I mean,
when they're
you say that, but I'm not sure if we want to know what gay people all want to do. I'm not sure what they
No. I don't want to know what they do. I'm saying I don't want them to be violent, right? So because I want to live my life, right, in normal, seclusion, do what I want to do, I'm not going to say, hey, gay man that's living, 100 miles away from me, you're not allowed to get married to another gay man. That would be so dumb for me, because then that person would come.
Test 1 2 3.
That's not smart.
Yeah.
It's just not good business.
Just only if it's in the same county.
No, I don't care. Like if they do their bit in their home and they don't be violent towards me, I'm happy. I'm a happy camper.
I mean, I personally think to like the question that Sarah brought up, that almost falls back all the way back to like the like founding fathers type shit of when they started to set like the what's it called, the age of consent.
Bless you.
It came later, but yeah, that's in the code. Yeah,
that all kind of fault. It's to some states at that time, at least like in like the 1800s, 1900s, were like 13, 12, 14, way too fucking. And then you look back in time, and yeah, like girls started to have kids and families when they were like 15, 14, 16. Like, I'm not saying it's right, but I'm saying that's kind of what happened.
Yep. And it's an extra right that we give to them, essentially, to the children and to the infirmed, to the disabled.
But I also would be the first to say that, like, I mean, this might sound crazy, but I honestly,
You're crazy.
At this point, I don't think 18 is like a safe age to give consent. Like they
I would agree with that. Yeah, it's like, what is it? They say the brain doesn't fully form until 25, 26 or something like that. That's why
for females it's generally around 22 and males it's 25. That's right when you can start renting cars is 25. There's a reason for that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think like it's not out of the question in like some rural parts of the country where like you'll have like a 19, 20-year-old chick that's got like 2 kids. I'm like, that's crazy. And not to say it's a bad thing. I'm very pro family. I'm very pro like if you find a man that you want to marry and like have a shitload of kids with, go for it. Do it. But I don't know. I mean,
it's not my wagon, but like I said, the only thing for me is just don't be violent towards me, and leave the kids alone, essentially. But that idea that enabling is where it gets too much, right? Then you can have empathy. The opposite of empathy, by the way, is apathy, right? So that'd be indifference, right? So you wouldn't want to have indifference, and you definitely don't want your government to have indifference. You want them to, if you're going to have one, right? If you're going to submit to a government, because unfortunately we are subjects to any government that we are under, and this is just the way it is, then you don't want them to be apathetic. You want them to be able to provide whatever it is that they say that they're going to provide, whether it's defense or social programs, whatever. But then you don't want them to be entirely sympathetic to the point where they enable folks too much, So there's a it's not a balance. It's more like a dog has like the ability, to wag his tail, but he can bark. So he's got his face. He's got, you go down the ridge of the back and go all the way down the tail. It's like a line. You follow the line down. It's not.
Yeah, it's just about like having reasonable boundaries. Kind of feels like is what we're like, which is boundaries. A good thing to do individually and governmentally. I think it's just like deciding like where the boundaries are, and that's maybe sometimes the part where we might argue and stuff, but I mean that's part of having a government where we all have to live under, like we except for Teriyaki, who's obviously not American, and
when you're coming over here, bro, you want to be us.
I'm working on that 5 million for the gold
Irish,
card.
not Asian.
Say it again.
I'm working on that 5 million for the gold card, Trump's gold card. 5 million.
I think I called him
automatic,
teriyaki. Oops, sorry, didn't mean to bite over you. I think I called him teriyaki too as well on accident. It wasn't meant as an insult. It just kind of like came out.
Close enough. It's close enough.
Just don't come here illegally. You will get deported.
Yeah, no, like that's what I'm saying. Working
Actually,
on 5 million for the gold
Teriyaki
card.
going to CCOT would be kind of funny, to be honest. So I'm actually open to it.
Oh, before we get too far away from it, as a final thought, just the example of empathy or sympathy towards the homeless. There's a big Venn diagram of homeless, and then the addiction community, and then the mental illness community, there's a large Venn diagram that has a lot of overlap in all the different ways of those three different things. And as much as you want to be Captain Save-A-Ho, pardon the phrase, unless that person actually wants help, in none of those cases, you're going to be able to actually do anything.
Yeah, and
even
I
in
totally
some
agree,
where that
but
person
that
wants
doesn't mean-
help, you're still not going to be able to do anything.
Yeah.
Sure. So the issue is deciding like how
It's unfortunate.
how do we
real.
figure out like who is actually beyond help, right? And what do we do in those scenarios? That's one question. And there's what do we do for the people who are not beyond help? And because it feels like a lot of times like people use the people who are allegedly who are seen to be beyond help by any reasonable measures. We seem to use these people as an excuse to not help people who are not that far gone. And that's where I get very frustrated, because it's like, well, I mean, like we're justifying refusing help to these people because there are these other people who won't benefit from that help or who have these other problems. And I feel like we can work on both of these problems separately, or at least in different ways, and acknowledge that they both exist, you know, without.
Well, they do both exist, but are you trying to offer your own help or somebody else's help? Are you volunteering somebody else to do this
I'm
help?
talking about societal help, government. Yeah. I'm talking about.
So you're volunteering other people to do the help.
Yeah, sorry.
This
vote against me. You're allowed to. We live in a democracy. Okay, sorry.
This is the
No. It's the United States is a representative constitutional republic.
Yeah. How do those representatives get put into power, Grumple?
I'll give you a good example here, Grump.
They get voted upon.
That's the answer. We vote for them.
The city
they vote, and then it's a representative constitutional.
We vote for those
republic.
representatives, yes, through our
For
democratic.
the United States, for the federal government, yeah. If you
and
in
local.
your county, it's democratic, but unless you're voting for every issue, it's still not a democracy. If every person's not voting for everything, it's not a democracy.
Okay, well, that might be
That's
what democracy
is.
means to you, but I don't live in this like
Well, that's
weird
the definition
idealistic
of it,
abstraction,
so-
platonic form of ideology where you might imagine we do. So
Oh no, I play
democratic
Helldivers,
means-
so I'm
for
all
example,
about like managed
Ryan,
democracy.
Here's the thing: the core issue with your worldview is like you think that socialism is a great idea or communism is a great idea.
Who the fuck's
This
talking
whole-
about socialism or communism? I'm not
No,
either
no,
of those
well,
things.
well, what I'm pointing towards is like this whole thing, like what Grumple's trying to get to is like, what right do you have to seize the means of production? That's someone else's labor, and in a
Sorry,
voluntary
if you live-
marketplace, yeah. And in a
If
voluntary
you live in my
marketplace
society
where
and I live in
coercion
a
is
society
reduced,
and I get to vote,
why do you?
I have
why do
some
you
say.
need to assert?
Because
Why
do
should you
assert
be able
your
to
presence
vote?
on it?
Man, it's our law.
Because I can. If you want to take away my vote, then you have to do a lot of. I'm glad that there are a lot of friction points for you to attempt to take away my vote.
Well, you
And
guys
I'm-
were saying
know,
that
I'm gonna-
like women can't
I'm gonna
even
assume that
consent
most
to
people
that.
around me
primarily
don't
the
want you to be able to do that.
Constitution.
If you're not contributing into the money that's being spent, why should you have a say in what's being spent upon?
Wait,
Exactly.
Ryan,
I don't care that you
right?
feel that way. I don't have to justify my right to vote. I have the right to vote. I'm not going to debate you on
It's
whether or
not
not I
right.
should.
It's a privilege. You should know the difference.
Okay, you can call it whatever you want. I have the right to vote right now.
Ryan, please.
Well, I
All
mean,
right.
that's because you have selective service.
I'm
in the United
bored.
States. That's why you can
I'm
vote.
tired. It's almost 4
Closing statements,
o'clock in
guys.
the
I
morning.
agree, Tomato.
Let's get the fuck out of here. Grumple, go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, next karaoke night is going to be towards the end of the month, maybe first week of September. Okay? Karaoke night is a great time. Everybody, maybe the best time ever. Follow me on everything.
Thank you, Grumple.
Everybody have a great night.
Ryan, to you.
Yeah, I was kind of disappointed that after all of the back and forth, which was all, I mean, it was awesome watching the kick and bring Ryan back. Like I think we raised like $600, $700. I think it's always super cool to be a part of. It makes me feel really good to be so polarizing in that way, and that I excite the chat to be that involved. And I was a little disappointed after that, though, that like when I did come back up, it seemed like we kind of moved off of the topic of the night, which was the Kamala versus Trump thing. And I don't feel like I definitely don't feel like Rob or anyone on the panel tonight really made a good case for why Kamala would actually have been worse in any like tangible way. I don't think they addressed like any specific policies that she would have done that were like really disastrous in any way. But I think there was a lot of discourse about specific things that Trump is doing that, you know, love him or hate him. I think they're extremely controversial and for good reason. For example, the Medicaid cuts, the tariffs, which even a lot of Trump fans are against, all the Epstein stuff, which is just crazy. And I think a lot of his base is turning on him. All of the the Doge and the Doge insanity, all the lies from Doge, and all the lies from Elon Musk, and all of the firings, the federal employees being fired, and just all of these insane things that I think even reasonable Republicans who might have been blindly MAGA in the past are starting to realize that, hey, this guy's kind of a narcissistic fuck, and he's not really out to help any of us. He's just really out for himself and his corrupt buddies. But anyway, if you enjoyed my take on any of this stuff, or if you hated everything that I had to say and you want to come tell me what a soy boy bitch I am, you can do so at youtube.com/radicalcoder, and maybe invite me onto your panels. And if you're lucky, people will want to boot me off, and they will give you money to do so. I appreciate Sarah always for having me on. I look forward to next time.
Ryan, you should come to karaoke night. It's a good time.
I'll consider it. I like karaoke. When is it?
I'll DM. Wait, are we on the same server?
We're in
This could be an email. Sirs, go to you, baby doll.
Okay, so I have to address the elephant in the room. I like penguins, not turtles, penguins. Anyway, but Zerzu's Zyquin, you don't have to be wise. Just don't submit to stupid. Sorry for talking over Rob. I really like watching him spurg out. That's pretty much why I did it. Have a good night, guys.
Thank you. Teriak, to you.
Yeah, Sarah, thanks for having me on. Pleasure as always. Buy Bitcoin. And one question: do you know what an Irish goodbye is?
That was the shittiest Irish goodbye. An Irish goodbye would have left without saying anything and without me prompting you to leave. Brick, to you.
Sarah, always a pleasure to be on your panel. You are absolutely 100% the best mod. The absolute best. I wanted to say something about, the tax breaks. I was wondering, and maybe somebody could answer this for me, maybe later, another time, why a billionaire developer would need a $227 million tax break in order to build luxury homes in one of the absolute highest rate homeless cities in the country. It doesn't make sense to me. And I believe that the tax money would be better spent elsewhere, perhaps on, the city, the people. Maybe they've got something else in mind. I don't know. I was hoping Flo would be here for that, but he's not. Anyway, I wish that the conversation would have revolved around the actual topic. And you can find my story about that on @PottersRanks Media, because I made a nice little story about that 227 million. So thank you, Sarah.
Most welcome. Thursday night, we've got Spyro coming back. I think we're doing a whole AI thing, if I remember correctly. So be sure to come back for Throwdown Thursday. Outside of that, since everyone acted like a fucking bitch on this panel tonight, this one's for all of you. And we're rating Marathon.
Thanks for having us up, Sarah.
Shut the fuck up. I don't understand. I don't understand. Like, literally, the host is giving the final fucking thing. That is the last thing you would want to fucking do, is interrupt. Just to say something that you already know has been stated. God, why is everyone a fucking tard tonight? All right. We are rating Marathon Kev. Go send some love to that man. I like him. He's funny. I like the way he talks, you see. Anyways, send tomatoes all around. Send him all of your money. I love you. I don't. Fuck off.
I needed a birth control that could keep up with my lifestyle.
Because I could deal with cramps, but not something cramping my style.
That's why we chose Nuva Bling.
The discreet yet diamond-encrusted ring that inserts neatly into the vagina.
It's pizzazz that slides right up into my choach.
Plus, you can customize Nuva Bling by adding your own fierce and glamorous charms. And instead of throwing Nuva Bling away each month, you can reuse it as jewelry.
So wow up that womb.
Glam up that clam.
And shine up that shine.
With Nuva Bling!
Say goodbye to the same old birth control with Nuva Bling.
And yeah, it does hurt.